man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you, and I answer a phone right when I go on air. Good morning.
Fernando, because I had to leave earlier.
Hey,
I got to go west.
You go to work, man.
Hey, I got a little problem with that highway going to Somerton.
Okay.
Morgan, you know Morgan store?
I don't know which store you mean.
The Morgan. Going south on
95?
Somerton Avenue right here.
Yeah, okay. What about it?
Okay, the curve, you got one. About a half a mile, you got another one that turns, I think, left.
Yeah.
And you got another one that turns right.
Okay.
So I was going on a dark night. I was fairly new in Somerton.
Yeah.
So it's a time when the tractors are running, the dirt covered the center line, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I was going a little fast, and suddenly I'm on the incoming traffic.
Oh.
The last curve.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw a car coming, and I veered hard to the right. I missed it by inches.
Oh, man.
Yep.
I'm glad you missed it, man.
I quote you, by inches. If I didn't maneuver to the right hard, I would have hit him head on.
Well, buddy.
And it's a dark. It'll get worse when the fog comes in. You can't see nothing, and that curves are so dangerous.
There used to be a store there. Is there a store still there?
There's still stores.
That's the Morgan store you talk about? Yeah.
Okay. The carnitas is right there. Everything's right there.
Yeah.
Good food. The store is, what do you call it?
Yeah, I know it moves a little bit. What do you think they should do? Put some lights up or something? Or?
No. It's so simple. Just straighten the damn highway. So make it straight.
I bet that costs $1 million. But,
well, yeah, I know. Yeah. Nobody's going to do it.
Yeah.
Until they kill about. You can see on the road crosses on the side. I mean, somebody's killed.
I would imagine. Yeah, that's going to be a higher traffic incident than most places.
Well, when they hit on collision on a foggy night, they'll remember I called you.
I'd be curious, how many accidents we really have on that. Usually, they keep track of those just so they can go back out and make adjustments or do something speed-wise or stop signs, something.
Imagine that corner on Morgan. It's really to just make it straight again, and you got a stop sign. These people that go from San Luis, they're they call them brake stops in Mexico.
Yeah.
A disc brake stop. Yeah. That means the car's still running. They slow down and run the light or the stop sign.
Yeah, we always called them running stops. Yeah,
running stop. Yeah,
you don't even stop.
Disc stop. It's
the wheels keep
running,
moving, right?
And that's real dangerous when you're going, say, 90 miles or 80 or 60 miles a mile, and this guy runs in the stop sign on the disc brake. That's one saying with these drivers that come from San Luis. I don't know where they get their license, man.
There's been a problem with some foreign drivers, and I know we kind of turned them loose. They didn't used to be loose like that, but now they can travel the country.
There's no police cars running on any time that I pass through that street. It's obvious they can do anything they want.
Well,
they can pass lights, run at stop signs
until you do get caught. But that does happen.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
But my son was a police officer. He was always checking those lights, and that's all revenue for the city.
Well,
because as soon as these guys get a ticket, they'll realize they're not going to do it again.
You be careful.
$300, $4 ticket.
You be careful out there, Fernando. Get to work. I know you got tires probably. We'll see you later, my friend. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, Fernando's got problems with, and that is a pretty good corner out there. I didn't know what he was talking about at first, but I forgot it was the Morgan store out there in that area. But be careful. Sandy sent me something. I think I'd seen this too. I think, but you know that Minnesota's had a big problem with child care services, fraud and social services, fire care, child care, and all that. And the government, Donald Trump, directed to cut off the funding until they get reports, until they get it all situated. Because there's some states out there that we're finding out, and thanks to Nick Shirley, and Nick Shirley's been bringing a lot of that up. We're finding out that don't police the organizations that are receiving the funds. They don't check on them. And I remember listening in Minnesota to some of the Minnesota testimony from a councilman or a supervisor that it couldn't be possible to have fraud because we check those businesses twice a year. Every 6 months, we check, make sure everything's good. Well, obviously they're not. Obviously, some of them haven't been in business for a long time. They just keep collecting the money. So there's states out there that really don't have good policies that are just allowing fraud, leaving it open to fraud. I guess they're on the honor system with a bunch of non-honorable people. Well, Trump administration just announced they're cutting off more than $10 billion in social services and child care funding. That's meant for a handful of Democrat-led states. And I hope it's not targeted just because it's Democrat. I think it's targeted because those states weren't policing, weren't taking care of it on these block grants and stuff that they send. But so I had a list of them here. I know Minnesota's on it. Oh, here we go. California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York on these social services and stuff. So this investigation is not going to end, and apparently because of Nick Shirley, more and more people are doing this type of investigation and this type of independent investigation, taking a smartphone and going out and recording and checking, and good for all of them. Absolutely wonderful. Shirley's went nuclear as far as viral out there, and it just exposed so much and got so many people interested. It changed it. He probably had a governor resign over it, which should have happened anyway. I mean, it should have happened years ago. It should have been found out. It should have been caught. And I guess the federal government's relying on the states to administer and to double check and to do those kind of things. And obviously, not all states can be trusted. And I think Trump is doing the right thing to just shut it down until you can prove that you're taking care of it. And I know many people on the left are out there saying that, look, Donald Trump is racist or something because he's going after Somalia businesses. He's just doing Somalia. Not true. He did the whole state of Minnesota, the whole state. Show me where you're taking care of it. And yeah, I know the governor says, he's working tirelessly. That's why he can't run for governor, because he's got to spend all this every minute going after fraud. Which, if that's true, that's great. But the first thing to do is cut the fraud off, put some policies in place, check it. And since this has been going on for 10 years, they could have done it 10 years ago. They just left the door wide open and then went in and checked for problems. Absolutely amazing. Amazing that it goes on. And it's such huge money coming out of the taxpayers' coffers. It probably helps the state, though. And here's why. It's a lot of it's federal money. That federal money's coming in like crazy. Most of it's being spent in the state. Yeah, a lot of it's getting cashed and sent to Somalia and to terrorist organizations. Gets spent in the state, so it kind of spurs on spending, spurs on local stores getting extra money and all that at federal expense. And that nonsense that the Somalians are all paying taxes. Yeah, with stolen money. They're paying taxes with stolen money. So the state likes that too. They steal money and pay taxes. Some of those nonprofits aren't paying taxes. They find ways around it. They deal everything in cash mostly. From the reports I've been reading in a lot of the other interviews and stuff, is cash is king with Somalia, so it can't be traced. They don't mess with it. In fact, I heard a report the other day from a Somalian from Minnesota that was traveling back to Somalia and taking $7,500 cash with him, which is perfectly legal. But it was unusual. And the TSA agent took him aside, talked to him about it, and wanted to know where it came from and all that. And he didn't know. He didn't know where it comes from. I'm just carrying it. I know I have a phone call. Hold on a second. TSA agent didn't know, so he called, someone else to say, like, what do I do? Is this normal and all that? And they called some government agents. They said, you got to let him go. It's perfectly legal. But he doesn't know where he came from. Yeah, that doesn't matter. The law is you can't travel with over 10,000. He doesn't have to tell you where he got it or what it is. And the guy apparently didn't know. He's according to his confession, didn't know. He's just traveling with it. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Russ. How we doing?
We're doing well, Carl. Good morning.
You're talking about all that money we're giving Somalia,
and not a small amount either. I mean, it's not. It's probably bigger than we know. And now because of one guy, can you believe that one 22, 23-year-old guy has busted this wide open to where now people are interested to look, and they've been looking the other way for decades.
That's right. And right here in Yuma, Arizona, how long have they been looking away at us educating the children that live in Mexico? Because when you're talking about Somalia, it kind of upsets me because we're doing the same damn thing here in Yuma, Arizona, educating kids out of country.
Not everyone's been looking away. I'll tell you, David Lara has been on that border every day.
No. But I apologize to David Lara because that's one of the reasons why this case keeps going is because he wants to do something about it.
Yeah, he does. But maybe he needs to get Nick Shirley down here.
Well, I need to get somebody.
Maybe he should get Nick Shirley and get more attention. And it's not that he hasn't brought some attention. It is. And it's like 1,400 kids a day is what they estimate that just walk through without parents, without anything, walk right through customs and goes right back to Mexico with no parental, person helping them and no parent. We're going across international borders back and forth every day.
Yeah. It's just like my kids who went to Yuma. I would go to Yuma High. Kid from Mexico, San Luis, go to Yuma High. No difference. The only difference is that the kid that's going that goes to Yuma High, lives in the United States, is paying for that young man that's in Mexico going to school too. So
that's true.
He's paying twice.
That's true, and that's legal if you pay for it. But like nobody does, or it's a very rare thing that one person will come forward and actually pay for that education. But I've heard of it happening, but it's not a thing they look for.
And if a person living in Mexico wanted to pay for this guy, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, that would be fine.
Not a bit. No, hey, that's great. Hey, have a ball. Learn as much as you can, but don't expect me to pay for it.
Yeah, but these and it doesn't matter whether the kid's a U.S. citizen or not a U.S. citizen. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with where do they live and where and it is the taxing district. If they don't live in Yuma, if they don't live here, they're not paying taxes here. They can't use a tax-funded education system. That's just pretty simple stuff.
So the question who is the person? Because there's got to be up the chain of command someplace.
Yeah.
That can stop that. How far do you have to go up the chain to say, "Hey, guys, we're not paying for your school more"?
That's a great question, and David Lara has been rattling chains for a long time, and of course the school says, "Look, we're not Border Patrol, and that's not our job," and I don't disagree with that.
Okay,
but there should be somebody to pick up a phone and say, "Look, we got this kid coming to school every day. We suspect that he's not really living in the United States. There should be somebody that can check that out." Now, David has been successful in having some kids quit school over it, but then they re-enrolled in a charter school right down the street. And that charter school is also tax funded.
Yep. Well, here's another. I'm speaking of David Lara.
Yeah.
We the people, we've seen all the corruption going on in our elections. We've seen it.
Sure.
Okay.
And a lot more of it's being proven. A lot more of it's being admitted to. Yeah.
And so what we the people did is we put David Lara down at the county recorder's office so he can kind of take a look and see what's going on. What does the county supervisors do? Take that authority away from him.
Yeah, but he's still engaged in a lot of it. he's not going to be engaged in the setting of it up and getting it run right. But he is engaged in cameras. He's engaged in a lot of the double checks and stuff like that. So it's very helpful to have him there.
Yeah. But that last election was really messed up.
Yeah.
And who was running it?
Yep.
The county board of supervisors.
Yeah.
And so we put people in there to say, hey, let's see what's going on. And they say, well, no, we don't do that.
That's who's in charge, county supervisors. I mean, you could say David Lohr and all that. David Lohr's got some specific responsibilities for the recorder's office, but the county supervisors ultimately are in charge, and they're the ones that are responsible, and they can't just say, well, the people running the office didn't do a good job. No, there's oversight. They're supposed to be more engaged than that. And yes, they should have gotten more aggressive in making sure that things are running right. And I don't know if they are or not. I haven't talked to them. Maybe I should call Jonathan Lyons or something and talk to him.
Yeah, well, I sent him a letter and I haven't heard from him yet.
Well, I should give his cell phone out over the air. Maybe. No, I would not do that.
but he doesn't answer it anymore. He just takes text messages off of it.
Oh, well, I don't know. I've talked to him a few times recently. But,
I have too. I have no problem with Jonathan Lyons.
No, he's a good guy. I mean, great. But
he does a lot for you.
He does. He does a ton, and he does a lot for the state of Arizona too. Don't. It's not just Yuma. He's involved in a lot of things statewide, and he's very good for us. There's no question. But this is still his responsibility.
Yeah, and so I think he ought to come back and take care of Yuma, Arizona, and say, hey, let's come and talk to us. Say, what the hell's going on?
You got to do both,
But what I've seen also is the county board of supervisors, David Lohr spent a lot of time and effort getting rid of the ballot harvesters and get them put in jail. And then we have one of them down there praying for the lady. She didn't go to jail too long.
Right.
Sit there and watched it.
Right. You're right, and but there's more and more pressure on it, and we need to keep that pressure up, and because it hasn't gone away. I mean, people are looking over their shoulder now, and they're trying to be more careful, more sly, and that's good. That's good. I mean, let the criminals sweat it out, and continue to push to stop it. And and when I see the things that are going on in Minnesota, what we've got is just child's play.
That's right.
In Minnesota, you can legally, because they passed it through a referendum or a law, I think. I don't know if it's a referendum or law, but they passed it to where you can vouch for 8 neighbors and say, yes, they live here. They don't need an ID to vote. They just need one guy that's a registered voter can vouch for 8 at a time. It's just amazing. And I'm reading about the voter fraud there on some of the people that are tracking it. And the Somali group is so tight. They don't really talk to outsiders. They stay within themselves. A lot of people do harvest in the Somalis. They make sure that everyone's registered all the time, and then they gather the cards and they fill them out themselves in groups to make sure that they support certain people, and they threaten people like, we'll come out against you. And then apparently they can sway elections because they're so organized that criminal gang is so organized that they can do that, and they're getting so many people to register on the last day, and they're because you can do that in Minnesota legally, and you don't even have to give your name, or I don't know about name, but you don't have to give an ID. You don't have to give an ID. So you register and vote, and by the time they do the research to find out if you're really a person, it's too late. The vote's in, and they counted it already.
Yep.
It's just nuts.
It is.
So Minnesota is falling off the map. And it'll stay.
Isn't human nuts? So we put a person in to kind of make sure our elections go as straight as we can.
Yeah.
And our county board of supervisors say, no, we don't want you to do that.
They did not neuter him. They didn't neuter him, buddy. I don't like the decision, but I don't think it destroyed anything. It's nothing that's harmful as bad as you think. I mean, it was kind of rude, but but it's not.
What do you use, rude or sleazy, or both?
I think just rude. I mean,
rude.
they made a judgment that I think was wrong, and we can do that, and we can say there's wrong. I don't think it was criminal. I don't think it
Oh,
was
I didn't
criminal.
say it's criminal. Well,
And I don't think it's going to create fraud or allow more fraud to happen. I think David would have
well,
been more aggressive on making sure things run right. But without him at that helm, it's up to the supervisors to be at the helm, and they just appoint somebody to do it. And then, and I don't know if there's follow up or not. There may be. Maybe they're over there every day talking to him. I don't know.
well, we don't. That's why they need to come and talk to us, isn't it, Russ?
Well, they need to be responsible. The supervisors are responsible, and maybe they're doing a bang up job about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that it made it fall apart. I just think it was a
No.
wrong move. That's all.
Well, maybe when somebody comes up and tells you that these 10 people or 8 people are okay. In fact,
That's Minnesota,
you
though. That's not us.
yeah, that's Minnesota.
Yeah.
But what happens is when somebody does that, then nobody checks it on those other people. They just say, "Well, okay, that sounds good." Well, that's crazy.
Well, my understanding, in the more I read about this, the Minnesota is known as like one of the friendliest places and trusting and nice. It's the opposite of New York City or something. It's just very nice. And they're very open and very giving. Well, they've given the Somalians everything, and they took it all and took more than they were given, obviously. And and I'm listening to some Minnesota people that have been tracking this fraud for a long time, whistleblowers and stuff that are coming forward and saying Minnesotans are just too nice. They just take everybody's word for it. And they're really nice. They're not going to ask the hard questions.
Hmm.
So they're the ones that have to live in all that crap now, and they need to hire somebody like David put up there.
Yeah. But then the officials, they go after David, beat the hell out of him.
Well, just like they're going after Shirley right now, the leftists.
Yeah.
CBS is going after MSNBC. All those guys. They're thinking, oh, he's flawed. This Nick Shirley is the only one with the guts. I mean, because he's doing the job of all these press people that are going after him. He's doing their job for them, and they're making tons of money. Nick just is a volunteer. That may get he may make some money now because he went so viral. YouTube probably pays him a few bucks, but these professionals at the helm, I think they're just embarrassed, insulted. Like, how dare you be a journalist? I'm a trained journalist. I'm the one that has to do that stuff. I'm just guessing at that, but it certainly makes that appearance that here he is doing all the lifting, the heavy lifting, and rather than check on his work and do a double check. They're just going after him.
Yeah,
it's kind of stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem, the Democrats are going by Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, and the Republicans are still trying to go by the Constitution.
Well, I can't believe the Democrats. I mean, and that's primarily what's going on here is this is partisan, and the Democrats are going after Shirley. How dare you challenge these Somalians? You're racist and all that stuff. And that's what they've been doing nationwide. But yet. The overwhelming majority of the people in the country don't agree with that kind of crap. I mean, it's hard to believe that some of these Democrats stayed Democrats, even though their party is not really supporting them. But they just are so much anti-Trumpers. They're going to vote for the devil. It doesn't matter.
Well, Arizona did. Only this time her devil was a woman.
Yeah.
And first thing she did was go down and start fighting with ICE. ICE is trying to clean our country out of illegal aliens.
Well, we knew what she was when she was voted in, buddy. We knew what she was. And there's some people that are just so convinced, and it's not the majority of people, that are so convinced that ICE is Nazis. It's just amazing to me. I mean, these are hardworking law enforcement that are saving our communities and protecting us and all that, and the criminals that have actually robbed, stole, murdered, raped, they're protecting them. They're throwing their bodies in front of them, protecting them from the people that actually will keep harm from coming to them, and it's just insane. It's just
insane, and they want us to give these guys that are trying to harm us, give them checks.
Yeah.
We want to support them.
Yeah. We give them too much. I appreciate the call, my friend.
Have a good day, my friend. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Democrat Party, I just want to make a quick mention about it. the Democrat Party is looking for what it stands for and what it is, you know. And in some respects, the conservatives are too, you know. And I guess it's normal. It's just getting more striking. You know, some Republicans are upset that the MAGA people and people make America great again, which is the mantra, make smaller government, less crime, stronger police forces, strong international relations as far as don't let tariffs be used against us, and not put up with the nonsense in Venezuela and all that other stuff. That's the MAGA, make America great again. Follow the law, and Donald Trump has. He's followed the law on all of it. I know, many Democrats get out there and say it's illegal. It's illegal. Well, if it's illegal, tell us how. Because it's not. They weren't screaming it was illegal years ago during Grenada and other things and all those police actions. And they call it regime change and taking over, and it's not. It's not. We don't have Marines protecting the Capitol in Venezuela, and somebody that we put in there. The person that's interim right now is the vice president. And what Trump is telling us is that he wants to help stabilize it so they can have a fair vote of where the country goes. And I think that's fair. But getting back to the Democrat Party, some of the fraction, and we see the fraction with the squad that kind of started, and the traditional Democrats supported the squad because it gave them numbers and it gave them more chances to win major elections, statewide elections and federal elections. Well, then the breakaway from the squads and all, they made themselves known and called themselves Democratic Socialist. And now we're seeing Democratic Socialist proudly being pronounced by many people that I'm a socialist and Democrat. I mean, it seems like a split from the Democrats. My fact checker sent me the other day the breakdown of the Democratic Socialist in New York City Council, because I made some comment to him that about the socialists taking over and all that. So he did the research, which is what he does. He's good at it. But the total city council members in New York City is 51. We have, 7? 51. We have 6, I guess, and a mayor. But city council members, 51. So the Republicans make up 10%, which is about right for New York City, probably. I mean, that's probably close to demographics, I would think. Democrats are only 26. The Democratic Socialists are 20, and I separate them. I mean, they're both on the Democratic ticket, but they really make a distinction in it, and they don't call themselves Democrat. I'm a Democratic Socialist, and Mandami is the first one I've really recognized that has gone very public, very open with it, that he is a socialist, and he calls himself a Democratic Socialist. I didn't realize there were 20 on the city council. That more than a third are Democratic Socialists, and then the 26 Democrats that don't tag socialist on there, they're not going to vote against them. They're not gonna. They're going to vote as a block. They're not going to join the 5 Republicans by any means. So the Democratic Socialists are taking over the Democrat Party. I mean, at some point, you may see it in a decade or so. They say we're going to change our name to Democratic Socialist. Maybe they just should make it official. Socialist is still a bad word in the majority of the people in the country. And we see the failures all over. This Venezuela things, which, they're communist, socialist, pretty much very similar. They, I think it was before Maduro, Chavez said he was going to make communism popular again or something. But it never works. And many Venezuelans that have fled the country, and there's 8 million of them, and some of them, many of them, probably in the United States, they went out on the streets and talk, and some of them even addressed Mandani directly. And, like, what are you doing? We've seen a country destroyed. We've seen Venezuela destroyed by socialists. Name a country in the world that does socialism really well or communism really well. It's. I don't think it's Russia. I wouldn't want to live there. North Korea wouldn't want to live there. China wouldn't want to live there. And those are the countries that are supporting the Venezuelans, that are supporting the Cubans and stuff, and want to spread that evil stuff across there. But they don't like capitalism. Capitalism's hard for them to compete with. Capitalism actually gives people what they make, more, not as much as they used to. I mean, it's taxed too heavily, but for me, but if you earn it, if you work hard, you can achieve. Can't do that in these countries. Can't. The only way to get ahead and become an oligarch, join the CCP or whatever the party is, join the oligarchs and become a friend, and it's more like monarchy. Well, the thing they accuse Trump of being a king. To do well in Russia, you have to be a friend of Putin. You have to be very well in China. You have to be part of the CCP and be acknowledged by the leaders, and then they let you succeed. You can't get a license and do some things in China without being a member of CCP. And I always thought that meant that most everybody in China is CCP. It's not. In fact, I'm going to see if I can't find that number. I'll be right back. AM 560. I'm going to break.
For the high, 48, a few clouds on Wednesday night. Windy and partly cloudy on Thursday with a high of 68.
Are you looking for a new car? Well, we don't have it. How about a new cell phone? Don't have that either. At Firearms Unknown, we don't mix what we don't know with what we do know. We know firearms, knives, and ammo. So, if you know what you want, or even if you don't, Firearms Unknown can get you what you need. We have rifle, pistol, and shotgun deals starting at $9.99 for all three. Deals on guns and ammo and the largest knife section around, with the knowledge to set you up right. Firearms Unknown, 801 West 32nd Street or firearmsunknown.com. Now you know.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the costs of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the costs of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. And I checked the CCP in China. And keep in mind, China, doing the CCP to be a workers' party, farmers, workers, the blue collar guys, is going to take over from the elitist. Well, right now in the CCP, which is only 7% of the total population's in the CCP, it's not every Chinese. In fact, it's lots of applicants every year, millions apply to try to be a CCP because that's how you get wealth. And I tell you this because these guys started off like socialism, like New York City, where they were going to take care of the workers and the average people and all that. Well, that's not usually what happens. Elitist in the CCP is 57.6%. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 57.6% are college educated, but they're elitist. I mean, the 7%, the whole 7% are elitist. Women make up 30.9%. Which is higher than I would have thought, actually. When it comes down to farmers and workers, which was the primary rationale behind CCP, was the working class, it's only 33%. Yeah. So you've got 66%, full third, that are just elitist, non-working class. The working class and farmers are 33%. Minority groups. I didn't know any minority groups were in China, really. I don't know what's a minority group in China. 7.7% is in the CCP. They hard to get in. Millions of people apply. They want to be in the CCP, but keep in mind it's 1.3 billion that live in China. There's 100 million that are in the CCP. It's 1.4 billion. I'm sorry, 1.4 billion. And only 100 million people in the CCP that run things. Highly selective, and it's people want to join because that's the avenue to wealth. They're 21 to 24% wealthier than what you can achieve outside the CCP. The recruitment is very selective, and 84% of new recruits into the CCP are under the age of 35. So my chances are dashed if I wanted to do something like that. And I use CCP as an example because it's a model for many of these socialists and stuff that government housing, government everything. So although they work in some capitalistic type attitudes, but to be an oligarch, you got to be CCP. You're not going to make it. Phone lines are open 928-344-5258. Nick Shirley says leftists are coming after him, and he did a show with Riley Gaines. It's not aired yet, but he said the political left, was doing it. He said, I think something like this would be would just be fraud is bad, but no. Now people are coming after me for exposing fraud. And who are these people? They're leftists. I guess he's 23. He was a little surprised, maybe. He thought he'd be applauded on both sides of the aisle for going after fraud. Apparently not. Apparently the leftists are no, we're not going to applaud you. And we got major organizations like CBS News and CNN that are going after him. He said, and it's just a moment where they could have really been like, okay, you guys, let's come together. Let's tell everyone fraud is bad. Let's crack down on the fraud. Instead, they come after the person who's exposing the fraud. On the positive side, he's going really viral. He's talking to a lot of people all across the nation now. He's a popular kid. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning. This is Sandy.
Good morning, Sandy.
I hope that a big message to Republicans and Democrats who I hope move more and more to the Republican Party, is that when the Democrats are in charge, there tends to be lots and lots and lots of corruption. So when we get someone like President Trump in, he's trying to clean it up. He's got to clean up years of a mess. And so he needs as many soldiers, by that I mean as many Republicans as he can have in the House and the Senate to help him. And some of our very own people trashed Kerry Lake, a Republican, in the past.
Yes.
And we ended up with Gallego, who we've got for 5 more years.
Yeah.
And that guy is not going to help.
No.
So I hope they get the message. If it's a choice between a Republican or Democrat, I don't care if the Republicans got some issues that you don't like or something about them you don't like. There's still going to be a better choice, and they're going to help the guy who's trying to clean up all this corruption.
But what about the people, Sandy, that say, I just vote for the best person. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. I don't care. I just vote for the best person.
They're going to have to get over that because...
Okay.
Or they need to have a 2x4 hit against them. Who is the best person?
Yeah.
Kerry Lake or Ruben Gallego?
Right.
Obviously, Kerry Lake was the best person.
Well, there's many
two.
There's many Republicans that think that are short-sighted, and I don't get it. But they put their head in the sand and say, "Nope, I don't like Kerry. I'm not voting for her." And it's like,
and that's
it's
something
like,
I'm trying to get across that they've got to get over.
They don't recognize the implications. And when you get to Washington, D.C., when you're in the party, whether it's Republican or Democrat, the whip, the minority whip, is going to call you every day to make sure you understand where to vote, where to go, where to do, and very few exceptions. You know, people vote in blocks. You see it every day with very few exceptions, like Fetterman or something. It just does. And look at what the Democrats are standing for. No police, open borders. And really? And you say, well, my guy doesn't. Yes, he does, because that's where he's going to vote. Yes.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can't see it, when, I mean, at least at this point, my God, you should, first of all, be kicking yourself in the ass for speaking up against her, because Gallego has done everything with the party. There's just no excuse for not learning. Right. And some of the people that were attacking her were old enough. They may not be as old as me, but they were old enough to know better.
Yeah.
And yet they still did it because of personality, or because they were, like my husband said, it was so minuscule what people were upset with her about, so minuscule compared to this other guy. It's like you need your head examined. He didn't say that, but I am right now. You need your head examined. Look at all the corruption. Look at how much President Trump has had to clean up already, you know, just with Biden and the Democrats inviting illegals in. And then you still have senators that are Democrats run down to some foreign country to have a margarita with a guy that's an illegal that beat his wife at one point. At some point, you got to get over this. I'm going to vote for the better guy. Yep. Well, you're sure not doing a very good job every time you choose a Democrat.
Yeah, these guys stand. I mean, it's amazing. You see these Democrats stand up for BLMs and all the others, and it's a sea of white a lot of times at these rallies. I don't really get it, and I don't know why people do what they do.
Well, the Black Lives Matter group turned out to be another corrupt organization.
Hugely so.
That they basically just took at least that organization, they just took the money, you know, the higher-ups, and bamboozled their followers. It was just a big corrupt scheme. And so what I'm trying to get across is that there is so much corruption, I'm not sure that he can clean it all up in 4 years.
You don't have to.
Because they've been doing this for a very long time.
You don't have to. But we can put policies in place right now. And that's what he's doing. He stopped payments right now.
Right.
And
right.
At least it doesn't get worse. And it's going to stop, just like immigration. Okay, stop the border. That doesn't mean all the illegal immigrants left. That just means no more being added. Now we can start taking care of it. And he's doing the same thing for this.
And we need more Republicans that get out there and speak up for the ICE people that are just doing what the law says for them to do. And
Same thing they've
and
done.
yes, I know we have lots of people on your program that speak up.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. But you need to get it across. No, I'm not saying you personally, but they need to get it in their head that for the top guy to be able to do what we want him to do, he's got to have the people to help him. And that means in the midterms, that means that we've got to have a Republican House and a Republican Senate. And so this nonsense of, oh, I'm going to vote for the better guy if he's a Democrat, is you better well know that he's a better guy, because what happens is they're going to vote Democrat. And that's just going to be a vote against President Trump and cleaning up the place. Look at how Comey, if they could have had Trump in back in 2020, and they're finding more and more evidence that the election was stolen, just like we thought.
Yeah.
And if he could have been in, Comey would have already been prosecuted.
Would have been.
Now it's iffy on where he will be.
Sandy, I got to run because I got to go get the front door.
You have a good day. I hope my message gets across to people.
I hope it does too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. I'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America great again. So get on that Trump train, riding proudly with him. He'll stand up for you and the red, white, and blue. Yeah, get on that Trump train.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. I had to get the door. Phone lines open 928-344-5258. Let me take that. You're on the air.
Russ?
Good morning, sir.
Hey, can I hang on?
Yeah, man.
Okay, thank you.
Pardon me?
I said thank you.
Oh, for
letting me hang on.
Oh, you're quite welcome, man. What's up?
Am I on the radio?
Yes, you are.
Oh, for Christ's sake, I didn't know. I turned my radio off. Hey, nothing. I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, well, I'm glad you called.
Yeah. And I tell you, those folks in Minnesota better start waking up to these politicians. These politicians have no right to be in office. They are absolutely corrupt.
Do you think there's a chance of it now?
One more time.
Do you think there's a chance of them standing up? Do you think there's a chance that they're going to do the right thing now?
Probably not.
See, I do. I'm more optimistic. Always, man. I'm Pollyanna a little bit, but I'm really hopeful that that this is the wake up call for many. That may see it, and I'm talking about folks in Minnesota, but also across the country. That we need to see it for what it is. We need to see what's really going on.
Yeah. Now you know something. I was getting ready this morning, and I had the TV on, and they were saying something about the ex professional wrestler, Ted the Million Man Debussy.
Yeah.
He's in some kind of trouble. What was, do you know anything about that?
I read there was something about it. I didn't really go into the story. I didn't look at it.
Yeah. All I know is he was a pretty big time wrestler back in the 80s.
Yeah. I don't remember him.
Yeah, he was the Million Man.
I remember like Hulk Hogan and stuff, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, Ted Debussy was the $1 Million Man.
Okay. I didn't know him. I didn't. I mean, I remember following him as a kid, but obviously I wasn't by the time he did it.
Yeah. No, I watched all that crap.
All right, buddy.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Be good.
Yeah. Bye.
Of course, that was Danny this morning. Nick Shirley. And he's going to be on the Riley Gaines show. It's not been at not going to be out yet. But he says he's received tips on alleged fraud across the entire country, specifically regarding daycare centers. So, I guess his message has resonated that the fraud's not allowed, that we shouldn't have it, and the stuff that Shirley exposed was blatant. I mean, buildings that were set up with daycare centers with no kids. Neighbors that said we've never seen a kid enter the building. It's just blatant, and they receive millions of dollars a year. Supposedly, they're helping kids that don't have the privilege of being able to pay for it. And I don't know if you've done daycare recently, but daycare, I know my daughter just checked some of the places in town. There's like $900 a month or so for daycare, which is just mind-boggling. Well, these guys are getting federal funds to help disadvantaged people, and there's no kids. They're just getting the money. And I guess it's been going on long enough. There's been a lot of people prosecuted over the time, but apparently it hasn't slowed down the practice because there's no double checks by the government. They don't double check it. And that's the local government, the Minnesota government. But Shirley says, the people have given me a mandate to expose more of the fraud. I like that. I guess he feels like Trump right now. He's got a mandate. He's 23 years old. He's got a mandate. I guess he's looking at his YouTube channel, which has well over 1 million people now that have watched that 42-minute show that he did. And the show is nothing that he created. I mean, he created the show. He didn't create the information. He had a whistleblower that had been beating his chest and blowing the whistle for many, many years, that had all the stats, had all of the government information, had everything about the organizations that were defrauding. He'd been telling the administration, he'd been telling people for years that this stuff has been going on. Well, Nick Shirley finally listened to him because nobody in government listened to him. Listened to him, and he went and visited 50 daycare centers with him and found 0 kids. 50 daycare centers, found 0 kids. Many of them wouldn't answer phones or answer the door. They're just locked up tight, and there's checks going to them, but there's no business. And the ones he did, called the cops on him, said he was trespassing or harassing and all that kind of stuff, which apparently is normal for those kinds of organizations. And now we've got Tim Waltz, who says he's been fighting it for years. I guess he never knocked on a door. He never went in. He never called. CNN came down into Minnesota to prove that Nick Shirley was a fraud. So it showed the reporter, I forget what her name was. A reporter was sitting in a hotel room. And she's going to call them all. She called multiple numbers. I don't know how many. She edited the tape a little bit, but she only got one person that took the phone call, and they weren't going to talk to her. And that was it. That was CNN trying to discredit Nick Shirley, but it hasn't stopped. I mean, they're still discrediting him, even though they can't find anything that he's done that's not accurate. They haven't proved any of it wrong. Some of the centers are trying to regroup and say, well, and they put up their hours now as 2 to 10 or something, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And they said Nick just came at the wrong time, and it's creating quite a movement throughout the country. It looks like Nick's got a mandate, so we should invite him to Yuma to check out. But I would think that every daycare in this Yuma is legit. I don't know them all, but I know many of them. I can't imagine getting on a list of daycares near me in Yuma and call every one of them and not get a phone call answered. I would imagine you would. But in Minnesota, totally different deal. They just that's why there were 5 states that Trump cut off until they get their act together and can prove that there's no criminal activity going on. Good for him, because we should not, because we all pay for that. And it's to the tune of many billions of dollars, which is absolutely crazy. I'm going to have some guests coming up and in the next hour, and including Stoner's coming. I'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU. It's almost 7 o'clock.
There's a man in D.C. 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America great again. So get on that Trump train, riding proudly with him. He'll stand up for you and the red, white, and blue. Yeah, get on that Trump train and say amen. He'll make America great again. Stand up for our flag.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
Democrats still oppose what President Trump did in Venezuela. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The Venezuelans and the world are better off without Maduro.
But Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen just told Fox there are a lot of questions still about the U.S. operation capturing Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, who pleaded not guilty in New York yesterday to narco-terrorism and other charges.
This was not regime change. We haven't seen the people around Maduro have been removed or that they're going to behave differently. So that's the question. What's going to happen next?
Republicans back what the president did, with House Speaker Mike Johnson saying after congressional leaders got a private briefing from the Secretaries of War and State,
the U.S. military operation in Venezuela was a decisive and justified action.
But Senator Shaheen and some Republicans worry about the U.S. going into Greenland next.
Needlessly dangerous. That's how the bipartisan Congressional Friends of Denmark caucus describes discussions of annexing Greenland, an idea pushed by President Trump from the start of his second administration. They argue Denmark has been moving in lockstep with the U.S. in Greenland for decades by accepting every request to increase a military presence to deter Russia and China. The president has shown an interest in the island for defense reasons and its natural resources.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. Opening statements are coming this morning in Texas in the first trial stemming from the Uvalde school massacre.
Adrian Gonzalez is charged with 29 counts of child abandonment or endangerment. The former Uvalde school police officer was one of the first officials to respond to the 2022 mass shooting at Robb Elementary, where a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. It took law enforcement over an hour to go into the classroom to kill the gunman. President Trump just posted on Truth Social a fraud investigations begun in California, calling that state more corrupt than Minnesota, where there are multi-billion-dollar fraud allegations. The Trump administration is freezing some funding to California and Minnesota and 3 other states run by Democrats, Colorado, Illinois, and New York. America's listening to Fox News.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation. Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
From the News 11's Information Desk, I'm Jelena Aguilera. The United States Environmental Protection Agency announced they will remove about 4 million pounds of abandoned electronic waste at the Yuma Community Food Bank. The waste was left behind by a previous tenant in the same warehouse as the food bank. The food bank wants the community to know that the food has been kept entirely away from the waste and that the cleanup won't affect the distribution of goods. There's still an investigation into who the tenant was and why they left the waste in the building. Plus, a retired Army service member, Carla Roach, was struck by a vehicle last month at the Cachan Casino. Roach suffered multiple broken bones, damaged her teeth, and received stitches to her face and mouth. The 58-year-old veteran is now recovering but still in need of surgery. She says once fully healed, she plans to return to her passion, that's connecting fellow veterans with service animals. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you, and Jeff Stoner. He's been out riding in traffic behind tractors. How are you, sir?
Good. And thank you, farmers. I love you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for feeding us. Yeah, if you want to ride in a tractor, if you go more than 10, 15 miles an hour, it's like riding a rodeo.
Yeah, you've done that.
I have.
You've been there.
I've been there. I've done that. And yeah, I will gracefully let them go ahead of me, and I'll just run my run.
I stay out of their way.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
They are big. they take up more than a lane.
Yes, they do.
That's quite a challenge to drive because
Yeah.
you don't want to come in contact with a neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. Or the fence or the car coming down.
Or a mailbox, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, I almost did not make it here on time, but thankfully we did.
Well, your guest did.
I did.
No.
My guest. She's not my guest. She's your guest.
Well, you brought her.
Yeah, she made it before I did. Yeah.
So we're getting ready for dodgeball?
We are. Yes, we are. Third annual dodgeball tournament, Strike for Success, and this is all to benefit Woodard Junior High.
And you brought the Woodard Junior High principal even.
The one and only.
Yeah. Are you going to be throwing the ball?
Absolutely not.
No, you're not playing?
No.
What?
I will be managing the facility.
Okay. I think you should change that, Jeff.
I believe that we do have a team. Do you have a team set up? Or I know that we had that offer that we had a sponsor that sponsored a team if they could put together some teachers or staff. So I don't know if that panned out, but yeah, we did have that offer go out to them.
Okay.
No, we didn't get staff that wanted to participate, but the kids want to.
Awesome.
The kids are going to come up and they're going to
take
help.
it.
They want to ref. They want to participate.
Well, and what day is this going to be?
This
this
is
weekend?
Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
Yes, sir. We start at 8:00 as registration. I need some time to build the brackets, so I need you to be there promptly at 8:00 with your registration forms and waivers filled out.
So don't get behind a tractor.
Don't get behind a tractor. Yeah, be there on time if you can. So we do definitely need to have you there on time, 8:00. It's going to be a little bit of time to establish the brackets based on the teams that actually do show up. I know that people commit, things happen. Sometimes they don't make it, but we will take whoever shows up, get them on the brackets, and hopefully start throwing the balls around 9:00.
Yeah. Well, I see you're on the website for the Woodard Junior High School.
Yes, and thank you to Mrs. Alonso for that. She did an awesome job on that flyer that she made up, and I'm glad to help and make some money for the school.
And this is not the first one you've done. Is this the third?
This is our third one. Yes,
Yeah.
The first one was over at Gila Vista. We did about a $3,000 tournament then, which was good, but not good enough in my opinion. I always want more. Second year was 4th Avenue Junior High. We did over $10,000 for them. My goal this year is $20,000, and we are still kind of hovering over $15,000 right now.
Okay. That's huge.
It's great. But again, it's not good enough. I had this conversation with Mrs. Alonso yesterday that, to me, we can always do better. And that's kind of a blessing and a curse for me is even though we do really good, I always want to do more.
And this money's going to be spent on what, Miss Alonso? What are you doing?
We have 3 projects. So first is our library. It hasn't been functional for the past 4 years.
Oh, it hasn't? Okay.
No. So we want to glow that up with some new furniture and make it a student-friendly space.
Okay.
So that'll be the first priority.
So the building, the room still exists.
It's there,
Okay.
yes, but it's more like a storage space right now.
Okay.
So we want to turn that into a functional space for our kids and our teachers. And then we have amazing arts programs. So we have a huge band program, and they're in need of instruments because we have so many kids that want to participate.
Really?
So we want to be able to purchase instruments and then also instrument repairs. So that way students can participate at no cost to the families. Not everybody can afford to rent instruments. It's kind of expensive. So this way they can be a part of that program.
Okay.
And then secondly, we have a budding dance program, and that can be expensive as well. So we'd like to purchase a costume closet and performance equipment that we've been borrowing from neighboring schools and dance studios.
Now, you have a cheerleading program. I know that's been really good over the years.
We do have a cheer program as well.
Yeah.
I want to look at purchasing some new uniforms for them. They haven't been performing because they need uniforms, but that'll be a different fund.
Yeah. You do a lot for junior high, though.
We do. We try to provide so many experiences for our kiddos, not just
Right.
Academics. I mean, we're great at academics. That's our number one piece.
Oh, you
That's
care
what we're
about
here
that too?
for. Yeah.
STEM and all that stuff is included.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Woodard is a B school. We've earned that title for 2 years, and we're the highest performing middle school in our district. We're proud of that as well. So we have amazing teachers, and we do that. But there's more to school than just our academic piece, right?
Oh, I think most studies show that the kids that get involved in the sports, get involved in extracurricular, do better in the academics.
Absolutely, right. And we have an amazing athletic program. We are the overall league champion reigning. We have more trophies than any other middle school as of yet, right? We're in 2 seasons.
But you're not
in.
proud of it at all.
I'm definitely proud of my Roadrunners.
Well, good.
Our students, our coaches, our teachers, they all put in 100% of their best effort, and it shows.
Yeah.
And then our arts programs, like I said, that we're going to continue to build up. They're huge. Like I was saying, our beginning band has 80 students. Can you imagine being
Seriously?
a teacher?
How big a school is it then?
We have 600 students.
600.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Right. And 200-ish are in the band alone. Mhm. So imagine
That's amazing.
being in a
participation.
room with 80 preteens by yourself, teaching them a variety of instruments. So that's what our amazing band teacher does every day.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's hazard duty pay, or
That's why the top of the priority was getting her the tools that she needs to be able to be effective in her position.
I would imagine. I don't know who it is, but I imagine they love doing it. That would be the requisite to be
Mhm.
able to tackle that. That's a big tackle.
It's a passion. Absolutely.
Yeah, it would be. So, with so many kids that join band, you have participation to that extent in the other activities, dance, cheer.
Yeah, absolutely. So our dance program is new. We only have 2 sections at this time. We have
Yeah.
dance 1 and 2, where she has 40 students there that she teaches, and then she has a performing dance. So this is our 3rd year with that program. So the performing dancers have been working the last few years to be able to be in that. And so they put on their first showcase this year to just show off all of their great moves and the hard work that's been put in. Cheer is an after-school program. It's through our
Yeah.
21st Century grant, so they work after school.
My daughter graduated from the high school, Catholic high school,
Mhm.
and I don't know what the percentage was of the kids, but I think it was all of them that were involved in something. I mean, I don't know that it was required, but it may have been required. I don't know, but you had the same kids playing football and baseball and basketball, and it's like everybody belongs. So I
And
didn't.
when you're in high school, I mean, you're working towards your passion and maybe going to college with something like that, right? Getting a scholarship
Maybe.
in sports or dance or whatever the case may be. And in middle school, we like to be able to have our students explore all of that. What are you interested? What do you want to try out? You know, a kid who's walks in 6th grade, 10 years old, and maybe has never played a sport before can try out any of them, right? At no cost to the family. Find their passion, explore these 3 years to say, okay, this is what I'm into, get good at it, and then you go to high school to that next level.
My son was at Yuma High, and I don't remember that percentage being that big. I mean, he was in the band when it was real big at Yuma High, when they had drum lines that were huge and all that. The band did well, but the rest of the school didn't. The sports just, I don't think, took a high percentage.
You know, the reality is when you have these extracurricular activities, it's not just the kids that are getting involved, it's the parents that get involved.
They do.
And when you get the parents involved and the entire family coming together for this, it builds up the school. It builds up, they're more attentive. They show up, their attendance is better, their grades get better, their attitude is better. Sports, music, all of these extracurriculars all the way around are just a huge plus for our schools. And we really need to keep that going.
We had our kids do extracurricular all the time.
Yeah, keep them busy. Keep 'em
Really
busy.
was a great development.
And it's a good way to plant the seed for their future. You know, if we can get into the trades, and we were talking about this yesterday too, about, getting into the trade schools and building that, have electricians, have plumbers, have framers, have AC, doing all these different things, hairstylists. Plant that seed now and just see what they want to do with it. Maybe they want to become an electrician when they get older, like I was. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to go to school and be an attorney. but at least you're planting those seeds now and letting them kind of flourish from that and find out what they want to do and what they don't want to do, so they don't make this mistake later on in life.
Well, they have more of a passion or reason to get the whole picture and study.
Yes.
Because there's a goal.
Right.
Yeah,
get the work ethic and your studying, but then also plant your seed for your future at the same time.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if they change their mind at some point.
Right. And that's what you want them to do. You want them to change their mind. They're not going to pick the very first thing that's put in front of them. And that's what the whole idea is let's give them opportunity to be in band. Let's give them the opportunity to be in dance. Let's give them the opportunity to be in a trade or to take ag or to do these different things in FFA and 4-H, for example. Give them all those different opportunities and put it in front of them. And then, they might pick one, and then again, they might not. They might want to be something else that's not on a plate, but at least they have the opportunity to see it, try it out, and see if it's something they want to make their career out of.
4-H is, you just mentioned, that is such a wonderful organization here. It's not everywhere.
Yeah, we were 4-H leaders growing up, and all three of my kids went through 4-H. All three of them actually went in through FFA. And my oldest daughter she took ag as her career. And now she's working over at Steady. She was an ag advisor.
She wasn't driving that tractor.
No, not that tractor. No, but she can. she can, but it wasn't that one.
I have no doubts. So Saturday, you still taking signups on Saturday morning?
We are taking signups. I will. We're trying to really hammer it down and have everything solidified by Thursday if we could, but I will take last minute entries. That's just part of it, but you do have to sign a waiver. You do have to sign a team registration. All those will be submitted to the administration as proof that we did do our due diligence on our side. If you don't sign the waiver, you can't play.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
And the ball is not the hard rubber.
It's like
I'm so disappointed.
I want to call it like a size 5 soccer ball. So it's a little handball, and it is foam. It's maybe, 8-9 inches in diameter.
I want to see those red faces, though, to get smacked.
That's what everybody's scared of.
I've heard that. There's a lot of people that were, kind of fighting back, saying, well, I don't want to get hit in the face with the ball. Well, if you get hit in the face, the other player's out. So I know it doesn't negate getting hit in the face, but it's going to be a foam ball. It's not going to be as hard. And, we don't want anybody hit in the face by any means, but it is going to be a foam ball. It's not as hard as people think.
Spectators allowed?
For free, yes. And we want the spectators to come in and cheer on your favorite team. Band and dance are also selling concessions. We're going to have hot foods, snacks, drinks. All this money, 100% of this money being raised is going to be going to the school. There is no money being held back for that. And I want to thank Gateway to the Heart for the 501c3 partnership that makes this 100% tax deductible to any businesses. So if you're out there and you're looking for your 2026 tax deductions, here we are.
Okay. And they can come and donate or buy a hot dog.
Absolutely.
If you're not going to play.
Yep.
Because you're afraid of getting hit with a little foam ball.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're not that spineless. Let's go. I'm going to be out on the field. I'll tell you that right now. I will be there. Yuma Electric Services showing up. Sunquest Painting is the reigning champs.
You're gonna be throwing a ball and getting hit.
Yes, I am. Oh. Yes, I am. I'm deadly that way. I like to go run to the straight up to the front line, and I'm the first guy out. But at least I'm having fun.
Go over to the hot dogs. take me out quick. I got food over the table.
There you go, Mr. Russ. You're invited.
Okay, 8:00 on this Saturday, right there at Woodard Junior High School.
Yes, please.
In the gym.
Yes.
All right. No crying.
There might be. You might see me crying over in the corner.
Oh no. Well, thanks for coming in, guys.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Go find your tractors.
Here we go.
I'll be right back. AM 560.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store is Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard. Industry-leading quality and trend-setting design to protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also the home of expert spray and bed liners, spraying mil-spec protected coatings, committed to unwavering excellence and unparalleled customer service. Expert liners, with available national warranty coverage and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray spray-on team at Truckmates. Truckmates is also the home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road trucks and Jeep enthusiasts. And don't forget 3M window tinting, the originators of window tinting with nationwide lifetime warranty at Truckmates. That's expert spray and bed liners, BDS suspensions, 3M window tinting, and Snug Top, all at Truckmates, 32nd Street, next to Lowe's.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark back with you. It's Tuesday morning, 7:18. The phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. I'm going to talk about oil prices a little bit. I think I have my chart here on oil. Well, here it is. Oil prices, my understanding is it's gone up a little bit in the last few days. And some people are, I guess there are some politicians out there saying it's because of Venezuela. It's not, but let's talk about it after the phone call. You're on the air.
Well, good morning and Happy New Year. How are you?
Well, good morning. Very good.
Good. Hey, I was kind of background here a little bit ago. Carl was talking about, I guess we still got kids coming across the border every morning to go to school or something.
Yep.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, they don't pay. They're not taxpayers, and they don't pay.
They're jumping the wall to come to school, or they cross across through the.
They run right through customs.
They run.
Well, a lot of them, they're late, but yeah, they got fast passes and a lot of stuff, and they get to the head of the line. I mean, people down. My understanding, I've never watched it, but David has many times, and they bypass people and go right to the head of the line. They push them on through. I mean, they're like regular customers.
Okay, but they're walking across the border, right?
Yeah,
So
at a
they're
legal.
not illegal. They've got some kind of a status.
Completely legal. It's completely legal. I don't know that they shouldn't have a chaperone, an adult with them. I don't know how they get away with that, but
Well, you file a notarized letter. Why don't you guys look that up? I brought that up to you a long time ago in your show.
probably did.
And yes, I did. There's a form that you can fill out that a parent can fill out, and it's on file with the with the customs agents right there.
Okay.
Also, a notarized form that goes across to unaccompanied minor who has either is a legal status to come across or a U.S. resident coming across the border without the parent. There's a letter you can sign and notarize and keep on file.
These kids aren't necessarily U.S. residents or residents in Mexico, but they're U.S. citizens, some of them. Yeah.
Well, they obviously have an address for where they're going to, and we no longer have it.
Of course.
And we no longer have it. We no longer have a district. Before, you lived in Crane, you went to Crane. You lived in District 1, you went to District 1.
No.
Now we advertise to get your child to come to our different school districts.
Well, David's done a lot of research on that address. And
yeah, David, David is
a lot of times, and look, they found where one address has been used by 50 kids, and they found addresses that were to blank lots. I mean, there was fraud going on. I can't tell you what the percentage is, but there is fraud that goes on there. That these kids live over there. They pay taxes in Mexico, and they go to school in the United States.
Okay, I guess I'm missing the boat, but maybe I guess they're not illegal.
No,
what?
No, they're not. They're not illegal. They're allowed to come.
It sound like they're jumping the fence and coming down. This is all coming from a guy that said he didn't want any Mexicans sitting next to his grandchild in math class. But
who did? Who said that?
We know who said that. I'm not going to get any.
I don't have any idea.
I'm not going to go down that road. It was already discussed.
I would never sit next. I would sit next to the Asian guy because I want to cheat. But yeah.
It was not you.
Okay. No, it wouldn't
one
be
of your
me.
callers.
No,
I know. I'm just telling you, one of your callers that calls frequently made that comment on your show.
Well, that's kind of rude, but okay. What difference does that make?
But neither here nor there. I'm not going to throw a name. I'm just going to tell you what's been said before. But I'm not here advocating that that every Mexican person or anybody illegally should be coming to our across the country every day to come to our school. They need to pay their way. But until we Americans change what needs to be changed so that doesn't happen legally. I mean, you can't blame the Border Patrol. You can't blame. school district. I mean, how many kids that come from over there that are come legally every day to come to a parochial school? They're all over. I mean, you look at Yuma Catholic, look at almost the Lutheran schools, look at all of them. They all have kids that come over here. They can come here legally. They come here legally.
I would say that's not a problem.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, we got people that live out of district. Hell, we got people that run for political offices that don't know where the hell they live or which district they're in.
If people live in Mexico, legally they can't come to the United States to go to school unless they pay to go to that school, public school.
Okay,
and there's a program to do
that. A U.S. resident.
Yep.
That goes and lives in San Luis and comes across every day. That's illegal.
Correct.
Under what statute? Tell me. I want to know where. Back it up.
Okay. To go to the public school.
No, back it up.
I don't know the statute, but let me tell you. I don't know that there's a statute, but I know the regulations that if to go to the school, you have to be a resident of the area, and you have because then you're paying taxes.
That went out the door when we have open enrollment.
Not true.
I want the law. I don't want speculation or it's my thought or it's my idea.
I will have it. I will have it looked up and sent to you. But yes,
well, I'm still waiting for the article you were going to send me about living in the poorest counties or states
I did send that to you.
Never
the state,
got it. Never got it.
I sent it to you immediately. But let me tell you, to live in Mexico, whether you're a U.S. citizen, an Argentinian citizen, or a Mexican citizen, doesn't matter. You live in Mexico, you can't come to the United States and enjoy free public schools. You have to pay for it because you don't have a tax base here. That's a fact. And the schools are paid for by tax dollars. That's a fact.
The schools are paid for by our property tax dollars.
Tax dollars, yeah, property, whatever it is.
Property tax dollars.
I don't know that's 100% of it. No, because a lot of it comes from the state. Per head counts and everything. The state sends money. Property taxes pay bonds, and they pay a lot of other stuff.
You live in Yuma, Arizona. You're going to pay a bond for the Yuma Union High School District. You pay a tax on your property.
Sure.
You pay one for the library. You pay one for a million different things. You live in District 1. You pay the District 1. You live in Crane. You pay the Crane. So the way it works here in the United States is if your child lives in Crane School District and decides they want to go to the Yuma School District, they pay the first year full tuition, and then from there on, they're locked in to continue on District 1.
But it's not,
and vice versa.
It's not property tax that pays the whole thing. Half of the budget for the state is towards education. And
where did they derive that money from?
All taxes.
Where does that money?
All taxes.
Buying your groceries, buying your clothes,
all of it,
buying all your stuff,
everything,
right?
Income tax, the whole bit.
Income tax.
Yeah, we pay income tax in the state of
Arizona.
Well,
our state income tax. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it'd be neat to get a breakdown on how that works, but I know that, change the law.
Change the law?
It down where they
so that anybody could come into the United States and go to school for free.
I did not say that.
Okay, what do you say?
Change the law if you don't want them to come in. I've always said it's a real simple thing. All these illegals that come across here are they come over here to work and then they have a baby while they're here, and all of a sudden, you can write a simple thing that, you've got a law, you don't reside in the state, but you can come in here to work. Here's a page you're going to sign. Real simple. If you give birth to somebody, to an infant or child, they don't automatically become a U.S. citizen, because you're here on a permit to work.
Well,
but no, they come across here and they come, or they have a visa to come and they come across and they overstay their visa. The child's born here, and now that child is given full status as a U.S. citizen.
That's what we've been doing, yes. And Trump is challenging it right now. That's a misinterpretation of the 14th Amendment.
Well, we've been talking about it for 20 years.
Correct.
That I can remember.
Correct. We have been talking about it probably longer.
We talk about it. We always think we've done something.
But it's being challenged right now is what I'm telling you.
Finally.
Okay.
Finally.
But it's being done.
But anyways, until then, it is what it is. And if that child is a U.S. citizen that was born here and they happen to be living with their nana down in San Luis for something 3 or 4 days a week, and they come across the border, until you can show me, not speculate, I want to see what the laws are.
Okay.
I really do.
I'll
Wait for that info.
All right. Go ahead and wait. All right, buddy.
I'm going to wait a hell of a long time.
I don't think so.
Have a good day, sir.
Take care, man. Bye-bye. That was Clyde. I started talking about the crude oil production in the United States. And I found this interesting. It was Edward that sent it to me and talked about a little bit about there is a price increase going on in oil right now. Oil because of oil production and in refineries. And that's what's causing the price increase right now because California just shut down a ton of refineries. The business has shut them down because California has had unfair practices and all that. But he sent me, he sent me some stuff on the production, the crude oil production, getting it, pulling it out of the ground, which of course drives the price down also. We do need the refineries though. The refineries is what takes the raw oil and makes it into what we pump into our cars. And when that starts getting short, and I'm worried about this one in California because that's what supplies Yuma. So there'll have to be other ways to get it. I'm sure they'll be trucked in, which may add to the price. I don't know. California is worried they're going to get hit with they've already got the second highest in the whole nation in gas prices, and it's going to go up. But the number one in production in the United States is Texas. And I think it's in millions of barrels. I forget how the chart's written. It's in barrels, and I don't know if it's a monthly thing. I'll have to take a look at the chart, but Texas is the highest, and it's at 2,079,249 barrels. I imagine that can't be a year. It's got to be maybe a month. New Mexico is number 2, and that's what surprised me. It's New Mexico. We all knew Texas was number 1. New Mexico's number 2 with 744,639 barrels. And I was looking to see, Texas produced a total of over 2 billion barrels. Oh, it's billions, not millions. It's billions. It's 2,079,000,000. Okay, it's written in millions. So it's a year's production. 2,079,247,000 barrels a year. And they're still drilling wells. They're still exploring. New Mexico's number 2 at 744,639,000. And they're putting in more and more wells in the ground. North Dakota's number 3. And that didn't surprise me because that Bacon area up there, the reserve that they went crazy over, really exploded. North Dakota financially and everything else. I didn't realize they were number 3, but 433. I think there was only 38 states that have oil production. 32 states produce oil. Arizona is one. They're right near the bottom. In fact, second from the bottom. They're the 31st. And they have, it's not 6 million barrels a year. 6. Or not 6 minutes, 6,000 barrels? Is that right? 6,000. Okay. Yeah, 6,000 barrels a year. So I don't know what they've got going on. They got to have some mom and pop pump somewhere doing it. We're not a player. Colorado's number 4, Alaska number 5, and those all 5 make sense except for New Mexico. I didn't know New Mexico was in there. Oklahoma makes sense. It's number 6. Wyoming makes sense, and then California's number 7. 8. I'm sorry, number 8 is California, and California, I would imagine, used to be at the top of the list. They used to have tons of oil, and that state has chased it out, and you see what's happening to that state. New York even has a little bit. But after you get past California, it goes down to Utah, which is 65,000 barrels, and then Ohio, 36, Louisiana, 30. Not a lot past that. I didn't know so few states did it. I thought Pennsylvania had a lot, but they're only 4,394 barrels. It's not huge. North Dakota is number 3. South Dakota's near the bottom of the list. So I guess it didn't stretch into South Dakota. And I wonder if that's by the state or whatever. But without the oil production, we're not going to keep the keep the prices down. The U.S. oil production totaled 19.4 million barrels of oil per day, or it's 827 million metric tons in 23 total. The largest oil producer in the U.S. is Texas, and that doesn't surprise anybody. And they've got oil there for many years and had it for many years and hasn't run out. But right now we're going to have a hiccup because of the refineries, with those refineries closing down in California, and it's going to cause us a problem. We'll be right back. AM 560.
For today, cloudy skies, a high of 71, cloudy and 52 tonight. Chance of showers early on Wednesday, 64 the high, 48 a few clouds on Wednesday night. Windy and partly cloudy on Thursday with a high of 68.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
Listen to KBLU from 8 to 9 every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America great again. So get on that Trump train, riding proudly with him.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark back with you. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. Some information here about the CDC. They just made some changes. And it kind of impressive and kind of staggering to me. I didn't think that they would. Well, before I get into that, my fact checkers already helped me with the Arizona statutes. Let me take the phone call first, though. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you.
Hey, turn off that TV or phone if you can, or radio.
Yeah, my finger missed the button.
All right. What's up, man?
Okay. Down there in New York City, Mayor, he was saying that all of the transit fares would be free, and understand that he is up the price of the fares instead of making it free.
I had no idea. Now, does he control that, or is that controlled by the state?
That is a good question. I thought he had jurisdiction, but I don't know, maybe not.
Okay.
Anyway, and then I hear that the Muslims pray 5 times a day and start at 5 o'clock in the morning, blaring out their prayer or whatever it is that they do, waking up everybody because they need to get waked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's interesting about the fares going up. I imagine the mainstream press is not going to publish that and say Mondami wants free, but now it's gone up. I bet he's not going to say that.
Yeah, no, the mainstream media is half truths and lies, unfortunately.
They're all in for the socialism.
I know it, and I still wonder about the bottom line. What do they get out of this, by lying to the public? But, I guess they get something out of the deal from the Democrats.
Well, my fact checker just sent me a note, said the state upped the fares in New York City. It was scheduled to be raised back in October of 25.
Oh, he's only doing what he's supposed to do then.
Well, it's actually the state doing it. It's not him. It's the state. Now, he promised it for free. There's no question.
Yeah. So much for rhetoric.
but he has to go through the state to get it. He can't do it on his own.
Yeah. There was a law, the McCarran something law, and I know that Harry Truman vetoed it, and it was over, or it went over his head, and they voted it back in again about Muslims and public office. And I can't remember the whole thing, but I guess apparently there was a law from, I think it was 1924, that banned certain groups from holding public office, and then I guess Lyndon Johnson, I think, was the guy that actually allowed them, it did something with the law and made it so that Muslims could hold public office, and look where that's got us so far.
Yeah, it must be the McCarran-Walter Act. It's when OG talks about a law, but I have no idea.
Yeah,
on that, whether that let me see. House passes a no ban to prevent future Muslim bans.
Yeah,
that was in 21.
Was it 21?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with office. Just for something else. That was Elam.
Yeah. That Born in America deal about people crossing the line, our border, and having their baby in America. That was a law that was put into place right after the Civil War.
It was the 14th Amendment, and it's yeah.
Well, it had nothing to do with Muslims. Had nothing to do with anybody but slaves. That's what it was.
Well,
out.
That was part of the rationale behind it. But what they put in there is anybody born in the United States under the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. And the question comes in, is an illegal alien under the jurisdiction? So that's what Trump is actually doing right now, is challenging that.
Yeah, I hope he succeeds.
It's an uphill battle because it's
well, now the Muslims are really flexing their muscle, with their representatives in Congress, berating America and the inhabitants, and then also Mamdani and doing his thing. I think that when they pray 5 times a day and blast it out of loudspeakers all over the city, I think what needs to be done is the Christians need to get together and put up their own loudspeakers so that they get equal time.
Well, anybody can do it, but there's a lot of people that get paid to do it by private companies. So if ads on private companies going to pay for that, and then there's equal time available, but you got to be willing to step up and get a bullhorn and do it, I guess.
True. You got to have the courage, I guess, to stand up and do it, like you say.
Well, if you pay them enough, people get courage.
Anyway, that's my big deal for today. So,
all right, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, we need some feedback from some of the people that really know this stuff. Call in again on your program there.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for the call.
Later, man.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. Well, while he was on the phone, I looked up the McCarran Walter Act of 1952. And it states that there was a claim that it stops Muslims from holding public office. They say it's false. It says this is a frequent piece of online misinformation that has been debunked by legal experts and historians. And I'm just telling you what it says. I haven't done a lot. He said the McCarran-Walter Act, also known as Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, focused on immigration quotas and national security screening during the Cold War. It does not contain any language that mentions bans of Muslims from serving in the government. Okay. I didn't know anything about it up until that. And it was, and my fact checker did send me the McCarran-Walter Act. He says Trump is not challenging the 13th and 14th Amendments, but rather that means of how it is defined and the spirit of the law. True. He's defining what living under the jurisdiction thereof means. Trump's position is that the courts missed the true meaning of them. Correct. I agree with my fact checker on that. He put something in here on the funding of public schools because Clyde was calling about statutes and public school regulations. He said the governing statute is ARS 15816.01, open enrollment policies. It requires districts to have open enrollment policies that allow students to apply to schools outside their assigned attendance area and or outside the resident district subject to capacity in the districts. Defines concept resident school. If you do not live in the district, but must in the state, the key legal issue is usually tuition eligibility and documentation. Okay, Arizona define concepts like resident school and resident transfer pupil, which districts use to assign a default homeschool based on where you live. The definition set in ARS 1518 and related divisions. ARS 15824 for attending a district other than your own district when tuition may be charged and how it's calculated. Arizona residency upon enrollment is required. So it's Arizona residency. And I'll send all this to Clyde. Thank you. I don't know how Edward has listed a ton of it. There was something else he put in here. When we were talking about the daycares in Minnesota that are being paid from federal money, and one of the daycares came out and said, well, of course we weren't there. We don't open up until 2 o'clock. We operate from 2 to 10. I mean, that came from the owners, 2 to 10. Well, Edward sent me something that says Minnesota and federal law both require that any group receiving governmental grants for children must be open from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. at night. I bet that daycare didn't know that. I mean, the ones that are receiving all the money, they didn't know that the law requires them to be open at 6 a.m. because they publicly stated, and they put it on their door even after Shirley, that they open up at 2. He also wrote me a note. He says, you keep stating that you believe politicians will want to clean up the mess. May I ask what you are smoking? And if you are free, I have a bridge in Brooklyn for sale. Now, see, that's just that's Edward's cynicism and all that. I believe there are some that probably want to do it. I could be wrong, but I'm going to keep believing that there's somebody out there that wants to do it. AOC ran under the banner of a Democratic Socialist. I don't doubt that. Did I say the governor resigned? I might have. That was a mistake on my part. I didn't mean to. He dropped out of re-election. He's not going to run again. He says he has to spend every minute fighting fraud, which I think is a joke. The Democratic Socialist Party of America claims Cuba as the greatest socialist nation in history. And there is a website for that, Democratic Socialist Party. They talk about their healthcare system. And yeah, people have gone down there and done documentaries. Who was that guy? Same guy did Fahrenheit 9/11 or something, or some things in Detroit. But anyway, he went down there and talked about all the free healthcare and all that. The problem was there weren't enough doctors. I mean, it's like in Canada, you can get an MRI, but it may be 6 months. Minnesota and federal law required. Okay, I got all that. Wow, Edward's been busy today, which I appreciate the help. I started talking about the CDC. They have taken 7 vaccines away from routine childhood recommendations. And that's a big deal. That was kind of quiet. I didn't, Michael Moore was the guy's name. Thank you, Edward. Michael Moore. He was the filmmaker, documentary maker that went down to Cuba and just loved Cuba. Wonderful. He didn't move there, though, which surprised me. I thought maybe he would move there, but no, he didn't. And he really talked about the healthcare system, how wonderful it was. Which, it's okay as long as you don't mind saying you get a free doctor if we can find one. Jim O'Neill, the acting director for the Center for Disease Control, put out there on Monday, that was yesterday, the sweeping changes. And they are sweeping changes. Now, recommendations that all child receive vaccine are 11 vaccine instead of 18. Now, that's a big deal. One of the ones that they took off COVID-19 and influenza. Just amazing. Trump put it out there on Truth Social right away, too, that something about 72 needles is what our kids get or something. I think it was something like that the kids get 72 needles. In fact, let me see if I can bring that back up. But he said, today the Trump administration is proud to announce the United States of America's updated childhood vaccination schedule. This schedule is rooted in the gold standard of science and widely agreed upon by scientists and experts all over the world. Effective today, America will no longer require 72 jabs for our beautiful, healthy children. We are moving so far more reasonable schedule where all children will only be recommended to receive vaccinations for 11 of the most serious and dangerous diseases. Parents can still choose to give their children all the vaccinations if they wish, and they will still be covered by insurance. Now, that's a question mark there. I think Trump may have that wrong. So I've been reading that the insurance will only cover what's recommended. And I'll get to that in a minute. However, this update schedule finally aligns the United States with other developed nations around the world. Congratulations to HHS Secretary Bobby Kennedy, Acting Director Jim O'Neill, FAA Commissioner Mary Markey, and CMS Administrator Dr. Oz, NIH Director I can't pronounce that, and all medical experts and professionals who worked very hard to make this happen. Yeah, from 11 into 18, from 18 down to 11. And amazingly, the COVID-19 was changed, and this was as a result of a presidential order, a memorandum in December directing the U.S. health officials to review how other developed countries organize their childhood vaccination schedules and to update the American system to ensure that it's aligned with best practices and scientific evidence. That was the whole memorandum. Align yourself with best practices and scientific evidence and study what other people are doing. So that's what they came up with. Isn't that amazing? Just a memorandum. We'll take that off. A physician at the University of Washington, former ACIP, and that is the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, writes that the abrupt change to the entire U.S. childhood vaccination schedule is alarming, unnecessary, and will endanger the health of children in the United States. And she's a physician at the university there. Caitlin Rivers, director of Johns Hopkins Center for Outbreak Response, writes, I think that a reduced schedule is going to endanger children and lay the groundwork for resurgence in preventable diseases. Well, Trump directed them to look at best practices and scientific evidence. So they looked at other Western countries and found out that they weren't giving all the stuff we're giving, and they're not having an outbreak. They're not having a resurgence. And the science doesn't show there's a problem, including the COVID-19, which I think is great news. They should have never taken it in the first place, for kids particularly. The federal government outlines vaccine schedules recommendations. State governments are responsible for setting and enforcing vaccine policy. So today, no American outside the military is required by law to receive any vaccination. Of course, that changed during COVID-19, didn't it? Well, I don't know if it was a law, or was it? I guess you couldn't get a job in some places. You couldn't go in buildings. Wasn't really a law, but it acted like it. However, each state sets its own requirements and vaccination exemption policies for public school entry. All states allow children with certain health conditions, such as severe allergies, to skip vaccines and still attend public schools. Most states also allow for religious and philosophical exemptions. The Dr. Oz, the administrator for the Center of Medical and Medicaid and Medicaid Services, said in a statement, all vaccines currently recommended by CDC will remain covered by insurance without cost. Well, without cost sharing anyway. But what if the state, and some states have already said they're going to ignore the CDC now because Trump is in charge of the government. They don't like the CDC. So some states are not going to do it. State-level vaccine policies have shifted in recent years. Illinois passed legislation empowering its public health department to set vaccine guidelines rather than rely on federal guidance because they don't like federal guidance now that Trump is the president. Florida lawmakers are working to repeal and prohibit vaccine requirements for kids who attend public schools. Two opposites there. In 2019, New York and Maine disallowed religious exemptions to vaccinations. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know you could do that at state level, but apparently they did. West Virginia, which long prohibited them, but earlier this year, the governor signed an executive order allowing religious exemptions. But the Supreme Court temporarily suspended the order. California, Oregon, Hawaii, and Washington have launched the West Coast Health Alliance. They did that in September to provide a separate vaccine recommendations in the wake of Trump's mass firing of CDC officials and his blatant politicization of the agency. Jason Schwartz, an associate professor at the Department of Health Policy and Management at the Yale School of Public Health, explained that changes to federal vaccine policy may impact insurance coverage. If the CDC stops recommending a vaccine altogether, insurance companies would not have to pay for it, which Trump said they still would. I think Trump may be wrong on that. Dominica, it's a Caribbean nation. Dominica. It only has a population of 72,000. Well, they're going to start taking, I guess, they're going to expand Trump deportation deals. I guess he's looking for everybody to share in it. The U.S. reached out to the Commonwealth of Dominica. They could allow some asylum seekers arriving in the U.S. border to be transferred to the island. The Prime Minister, Roosevelt Sherritt, described the agreement as one of the primary areas of collaboration between the two governments following recent U.S. entry restrictions imposed on Dominican nationalists. So apparently it was imposed recently, and it was on December 16th. U.S. officials, he's been ongoing discussions since December 16th with U.S. officials after the White House announced partial visa limitations. Don't know the details on that. U.S. authorities has led to what's called careful deliberations of the need to avoid recent violent individuals or individuals who will compromise the security of Dominica. Well, it says that they want to share some of the responsibility. I mean, the U.S. is, these asylum seekers and spread the wealth that they would have to wait in other countries, including Dominica. The locals are worried that you'd send too many people. We should be worried about that. We should worry. I don't know what too many people is, but I think Minnesota has shown us the problem of bringing, Somalia, not just Somalia citizens, but like a little Somalia group in that start running things. It's not been helpful for Minnesota, and they don't integrate apparently from things I've read and seen from that they kind of stay to themselves. And and I guess have put out a lot of power because they understand the systems. They understand how to rig the votes. They understand how to get federal money, state money, and not work for a living. Kind of great to be them right now. Hopefully it's going to change, though. I know Trump is sending a lot of agents there to follow up and see what's going on and where the federal money's going. Hopefully that all comes to pass. And some Dominican political oppositions, as they were waiting for answers, Thompson Fontaine, leader of the main opposition party, said that the prime minister still has not told the Dominican Republic or public what exactly he's agreed to in the terms of numbers of person that are going to come to Dominica, where they will be housed, and how they will be taken care of. Reasonable concern. They only have 72,000 people. I would imagine there's going to be a request to take on, something that would disrupt their entire community. But who knows? I don't know. Smart of Trump, no matter what size, you could help out, I guess. If you want us to help you, maybe. He's a negotiator. I'll be back. It's already 8 o'clock, AM 560, KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
House Republicans are going into a retreat. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, talking midterm 2026 election strategy, and President Trump's about to address them at the Trump Kennedy Center, but he might also talk about that U.S. operation that captured Nicolas Maduro.
Remember, rank and file members of the GOP Republican conference haven't gotten a briefing yet on Venezuela, so this is perfect timing. They'll have an opportunity to ask the president themselves.
Fox's Aisha Hosni at the White House.
There are plenty of people in the MAGA base that do not want U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts in foreign countries. So the president will likely talk about the fact that this is not a war. This is how he is putting it right now. Venezuela will also not have elections anytime soon, at least not immediately, because we have to, quote, fix the country first.
More on Venezuela in a moment, but one other note about House Republicans. They are mourning a death. We have just learned Congressman Doug LaMalfa has died. He was only 65. He had represented California's 1st District since 2013. Back to Venezuela. Many Democrats oppose the U.S. operation that captured Maduro, who pleaded not guilty yesterday in federal court in New York to narco terror and other charges. Senator Jean Shaheen tells Fox it's good Maduro's out, but
they're basing their strategy on a lot of unanswered questions and ifs about what's going to happen.
All House lawmakers and senators will get a private Venezuela briefing tomorrow. A Hampton Inn is out. Hilton removing a hotel in Minneapolis from its system over an anti-ICE stand taken, not letting immigration agents check in.
DHS says that hotel canceled those reservations for DHS officers after seeing their government emails. DHS posted a series of screenshots that appear to be from a Hilton email account on January 2nd. One of those emails saying, "We are not allowing any immigration agents to house on our property."
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Opening statements are soon in Texas at the trial of a former Uvalde school police officer charged in law enforcement's slow response to the massacre there. America's listening to Fox News.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
From the News 11's information desk, I'm Jelena Aguilera. The United States Environmental Protection Agency announced they will remove about 4 million pounds of abandoned electronic waste at the Yuma Community Food Bank. The waste was left behind by a previous tenant in the same warehouse as the food bank. The food bank wants the community to know that the food has been kept entirely away from the waste and that the cleanup won't affect the distribution of goods. There's still an investigation into who the tenant was and why they left the waste in the building. Plus, a retired Army service member, Carla Roach, was struck by a vehicle last month at the Cachan Casino. Roach suffered multiple broken bones, damaged to her teeth, and received stitches to her face and mouth. The 58-year-old veteran is now recovering but still in need of surgery. She says once fully healed, she plans to return to her passion that's connecting fellow veterans with service animals. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. It's 8:04 on a Tuesday morning. Good morning. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. Pentagon has come out and cut Senator Mark Kelly's retirement pay. And we're going to talk about that after the phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir. Good morning, OG.
Okay. Yesterday, y'all were talking about the Americans are coming. Remember?
The Americans are coming?
We're talking about the brass. USO, being on your brass, the Army the colors. And I think you were talking to Ted, and he said that they would say, we get the term American from the Americans are coming.
Correct.
That's totally wrong. No.
Okay.
In 1683, we have been called the Yanks. The Yankees are coming, or the Yanks are coming.
That sounds more familiar, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yanks.
I'm right on. Since 1683.
Yeah.
It came from the cliches from the Dutch, is where it came from. I bet people need to study history. They really do.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking what Jimmy Carter did in this country with his damn 10th plank of the Communist Manifesto. But what I called you about was Texas. Texas is in the game of delivering communism to its citizens.
Texas?
Are you aware of this?
No.
Yeah, yes. Texas has always been the closest thing to a free state since I've ever lived in Houston in our 70s. It's a police state. You go to Dallas, buddy, they pride of their jails and stuff, just like Yuma. Yuma's got their center by the highway. You can't miss it when you drive by it.
Yes. That's
they should be a university on that hill instead of Yuma County Jail. You know that, don't you?
They've talked about putting a university downtown. Yeah.
They got the Arizona Southwest College hidden, buried, way off the freeway. But they got the jail front and center in Yuma on I-8. You are aware of that.
But I don't think most people recognize that it's a jail. Yeah.
Because they've been inoculated or indoctrinated. Anyway, what I called you about, here's what Texas has done. They got brand new laws coming on, and they're going to start with your cars. And then the people have always been front and center on communism in Texas. And I hope some Texans are listening to me. They got a digital license plate that's going to be coming out effective on brand new cars when you buy them.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
Nope.
Okay, that digital can track wherever that car goes.
Ooh.
Wherever it goes, there's a record. Yeah, listen, there's more. That will chart that car everywhere it goes. So they're giving it to you slowly but surely and painlessly, they think. And no one's going to be calling them out on it. This is Texas, bringing you communism, folks. Mine starting at $500 if your phone signals that you touched it. If your phone crashes and it'll crash when you touch, that's what's going to be a law. When you touch your phone, you're in your car, it's going to crash, and it'll send out a signal and say automatic $750 fine. Also, teens curfew has been moved down to 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, and you're fined and you lose your license if you caught out after 10 p.m. It didn't say if you're driving, it just said if you caught outside of the curfew after 10 and 6 a.m., you will lose your license if you got a license, and you'll be fined. That's a teen. Now, another one was mandatory interlock system on your car. As your first DUI, you have to maintain an interlock system on your car. If you ever got all after your first DUI, I did say it was going to expire ever, but you got to maintain an interlock on your car.
Well, they do that in Arizona. Yeah.
And another one is an automatic fine for emissions violations, 60% from used cars. So they're going to be tagging you behind and see if that car, if it's not brand new, they're going to be a cop going to be coming with his smeller, little device that smells your emissions. If it reaches over 60%, you're going to get a ticket. And there was no mention of that fine. Insurance proof is scanned. That's on your license, on your license plate. It's scanned. $350 to $1,000 and a suspension license. When they scan your license plate and it comes back that you got no insurance on it. That is before you go to court and they try you for driving without insurance. That's just not having it. Parking violations. Now listen, there's more, guy. This is unheard of in this country. Parking violations are now a direct hit on your driver's record. That is shameful. Because parking lots, they got private parking lots. And they got street parking. The parking meters, if you get caught in any violation of parking, it's going to be a direct hit on your driver's license. In other words, there's going to be points off, folks. They want you out of your cars is the point here. And loud exhaust. They're going to have another smeller out. Loud exhaust. 85 decibels. If it's beyond that, you got to bang up. They didn't mention how much the fine was. This is going on in Texas, folks. And Arizona is probably next. You got a Democrat for a freaking governor, and she's worse than the Republican that they got in the wheelchair in Texas. Yes, sir. I'm telling you. Anyway, yeah, but there's a whole lot more, but not today, because your listeners are getting short-circuited. Like I'm on, I know that.
I can't.
Yeah. Because the stuff that I talked about 2 or 3 years ago is materializing rapidly right now.
Okay.
And I'm still in Trump's backyard. He is exactly right on that Monroe Doctrine. And people, I know you don't read nothing because most of you can't read. Because I know, no, I'm serious, Russ. There's only like 4 in 10 can't read. This is high school graduates can't read. And so you've got a lot of high school graduates out here listening to you, and they're like 40 and 50 years old. Can't read. And we need to help these folks. We need not looking over it. We need to help them. They had a club meeting that I attended yesterday where I live. And there was, okay. You know yourself, if you hold a meeting, the first thing you do is conduct an introduction of everybody. If you got new people in there, you got to introduce yourself, and you introduce people that are new. Am I right?
Okay.
If you want them to feel welcome. But if you don't want to feel welcome, ignore them, and they won't come back.
It's a polite thing to do. Correct.
Oh, no, I've been in all my working life. I've always started off with introductions, always. And I'm a stupid guy. I'm one that didn't go to college. I'm kind of like, what's his name? The one that they just shot and killed, didn't go to college. You know,
Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you'd already forgot about it. He did.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, but Texas got, folks, brand new law for you. I'm so happy for Texans. I am. They deserve all this crap they do. Trust me. Have you ever met a Texan in Arizona that didn't brag about his freaking state?
They do, man. They don't mess with Texas.
Yeah, well, they are there. No, this is why. Communism.
I've never heard ever of communism, but okay.
Oh, you haven't?
Not
Not
in relation to Texas, no.
Well, okay. If you go to Texas and you go anywhere near Dallas, they'll tell you Dallas is a police city. It's a police state. If you ever lived in Houston and lived in Dallas, you'll know it's a police state when you go. Dallas also is part of the prison, just like Yuma is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Yuma don't verbalize it. They just put it way up there on a mountaintop, the only mountain they got the hill, and you can't miss it when you go by I-8. You go, what's that? And you don't. It's all no windows. You don't see the windows, and you know it's like a dungeon. That thing should be built out in 15 miles out of town. Really, it should be. It should be nowhere near City Hall. I'm talking about.
It's convenient to be right next to the courthouse because it's just a jail and.
Then put the courthouse across the street from it. We don't need to be proud of incarcerating people now, Russ. Now, I'm telling you, the United States incarcerates more prisoners than any country on the planet at 8 million. And they say 10 to 20% of those incarcerated are innocent people. These cops and these courts, they just clear their books so they can get grant money from the federal government. Don't you know that?
I don't know that. And I don't believe that. I hope it's not true.
Oh, yes. And whatever grant money they get, if they don't spend it, they get less next year. So they got to spend it on some frivolous crap like tanks and personnel carriers and machine guns. And then, I'm serious now. Look at their equipment. They get it from the federal government. And they call it federal government surplus stuff.
Yep.
Remember?
I do.
They got armed vehicles. They got tanks and they got personnel carriers. Take a look at them, Russ.
We have one in Yuma. We have a personnel carrier in Yuma that's.
Oh, yes, you do.
It was used by the SWAT team. That's what they take into a dangerous situation. Yes.
Oh, come on.
I'm
The
serious.
lack of enforcement of law is what caused danger. Listen, we have allowed JFK, a freaking Democrat, in 1963 to shut down the symbol of law and order, and it was called Alcatraz. And nobody had a problem with that. I've told you about this before. And Trump needs to borrow no expense and reopen that freaking prison out there on that island. They call it Hell's Island, I believe, don't they?
Yeah, he mentioned it, but I don't think he can. I don't think it's a.
Yes, he can. He can.
Okay.
The federal government owns it, and he's in charge of all federal things. Sure, he can. He just needs to probably go through Congress and get some money allocated to go do it.
All right.
But the mode he's operating, see, right now he's got his eye on 3 or 4 countries. Colombia is number 1. He's going to take him out if the guy don't start acting right. You remember what Trump said about the president of Colombia, right?
Yes. He told him to straighten out. Yeah.
No, Trump said use this word on the air, so I guess I can too. He told the president of Colombia to watch his ass.
Yep, he did.
That's what he said.
I know.
Exactly. And then you got Mexico. If she doesn't get, the cartels are running Mexico, not the president. And he's in communication with her. And he's got a couple more. Cuba, he said, will just fall on itself because it was supported by Venezuela, by the guy that got in jail in New York. And by the way, he took a Dippy from Venezuela, the president, to New York on purpose. The reason he took him to New York, folks, is because Mondani, a communist, is there.
Well,
and he to show, yes, it was. You can do things subliminally. You don't have to threaten him. He took Mondani to New York prison in Manhattan, and put him in jail and going to get the charges read and all that kind of stuff. Because it'll be a few months before he goes to court. But he wanted Mondani to see what he can do to a president of another country, and you can be next. That's what he did that for, subliminally.
Yeah. Well,
that's what he did it for. And he wanted Alvin Bragg to see what he can do. Yes, he did. And yes, he did.
Well, I know that's where he is, but I think it's different than what you're saying. I think it's where the charges were placed.
One more thing, they're going to hit old freaking Mark Kelly in the pocketbook. Did you see that?
They already did. They cut his pay. Well, he's got 30 days. He's got 30 days to appeal.
That's better than a court martial. Because if you're in prison, you know you can't go visit anybody.
Well, they lowered his rank too.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can do that with a court martial.
Yeah. But I think they already did it, but I don't understand. In fact, I'll talk about it next. I don't understand exactly what they did, but the Pentagon said they did it, and Hegseth, I'll read some of his comments.
The Navy, the Department of the Navy reviewed him. Okay?
Somebody did.
That's under Secretary of War's orders to review this guy. They found that he's guilty of insurrection. That's what they found. And he was outside of what his rank caused. See, Mark Kelly is not in the chain of command at all. And he's run out there with his mouth and running his mouth. If you look at him, he does look like a scared dead rabbit standing there. Still, well, I won't back down. But he needs your funds. And if you send him a freaking dollar, folks, you're as rotten as he is.
Yeah.
Kelly is rotten to the core. He learned socialism in the military. That's the only way the military can function. You know that, don't you?
No. Never heard it explained like that.
The Uniform Code of Military Justice, that's what it's about. It operates outside the Supreme Court system, Russ.
Okay.
It operates outside for a reason. So when you appeal it, the top line and where the appeal goes is to the Pentagon. That's it. You don't enjoy justice like out here. I mean, I'm well versed in this military code of military.
Oh, you're more so than I am. I've not been in the military, but
you see him, Jay? Yeah, it was Article 133, I believe it was, and Article 144 is what they charged him with, and that will authorize them to cut his pay. And yeah, I don't know what they busted him down to. Now, I do know when an officer cannot make his next grade. What he does, they bust him. He has to resign like captain. If you can't make major to field grade, you have to resign your commission and you assume your non-commissioned grade. And it could be like E5 sergeant.
Oh,
that's what they did. Oh. So he can't be captain in the Navy no more, but he can be like a chief petty officer or something like that.
I have no idea. I got to run, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
You're covering a lot, but thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Gee, he covered so much I can't digest it all. But my fact checker's helping me. Fact checkers wrote me and said, look, OG stated there were 8 million prisoners, but that's not correct. At the end of 2023, there were approximately 1.25 million inmates in the state and federal prisons in the United States. This number included individuals serving sentences of more than 1 year under state and federal jurisdiction. The majority of the inmates, about 96.5%, are serving sentences longer than 1 year, usually for felony convictions. And he gave me a chart here that lists how many people are in there, and it's down a little bit from where it's been. Looks like. Let's see if I can bring that chart up. Well, I can't read it. It's too small. But anyway, I'll get to that. But that one's easy to research. Not that everything Edwards researches is easy, but that one's out there. So it's lower than he says. The United States military operates as an authoritarian merit system, not communism. Authoritarian merit system. Now, Edwards' father was a colonel in the Marines, so he grew up in a military family. Probably with military discipline. Okay. I've got to take a break and read some of this. I'll be right back. AM 560.
For today, cloudy skies, a high of 71, cloudy and 52 tonight. Chance of showers early on Wednesday, 64 the high, 48 a few clouds on Wednesday night. Windy and partly cloudy on Thursday with a high of 68.
The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show is coming Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center with hundreds of beautiful quilts and wearable art items on display. See the special quilt celebrating America's 250th birthday. There'll be items for sale at the country stores and a fat quarter basket drawing. Admission is just $8. Buy tickets for your chance at winning the Love in a Mist quilt. Proceeds to benefit the Hanson House. The Desert Lily Annual Quilt Show, January 9th and 10th at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
Are you looking for a new car? Well, we don't have it. How about a new cell phone? Don't have that either. At Firearms Unknown, we don't mix what we don't know with what we do know. We know firearms, knives, and ammo. So, if you know what you want, or even if you don't, Firearms Unknown can get you what you need. We have rifle, pistol, and shotgun deals starting at $9.99 for all three. Deals on guns and ammo and the largest knife section around, with the knowledge to set you up right. Firearms Unknown, 801 West 32nd Street or firearmsunknown.com. Now you know.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that my fact checker found out. Because OG just covered hundreds. I've never heard of Texas being called communist. I don't think about that. The teen curfew is exempt for those who have a job. He's talking about teen curfew, and I guess, and he said that the death of California, I think he means Texas, Representative Doug LaMollef has contributed to a shrinking Republican majority in the House, which now stands at 219. Well, that's not Texas, that's federal, compared to 213 Democrats. This narrow margin leaves little room for error in passing legislation. 4 GOP members that have voted against Trump several times, leaving it 214 to 217 in favor of Democrats. So the car tracking is a standard option with vehicles that have its own internet account. True, I don't think it's just Texas. And I looked to see if there was laws on the books. I couldn't see one. Proof of insurance is already attached to your plates. It's attached to the plates here in Arizona. I've ridden with the police officers, and they have a camera that automatically reads the plate and pops it up on the police officer's screen if the insurance is lapsed. Dallas is heavy blue. I didn't know it was heavy blue, but okay. And there are many regulations. The financial firms are in talks to reduce some of its restrictions so they can increase their presence. As Clearwater, Florida has passed new regulations to remove several outdated ones. And I know Dallas, I guess, is taking a lot of stuff out of a communist city, which is New York City. And Dallas and Clearwater are at war to become the next Wall Street. Recently, Charleston, South Carolina has started making inroads. Atlanta was expected to actually take the crown until the mayor said the city would accept financial firms and tax the heck out of them. Well, I guess that's a good way to turn them off, to lose the business. Just make those kind of comments. Yeah, when I mentioned that Edward, grew up in a military family, he probably grew up as a military, training. He said, most kids, when they make a mistake, get grounded. I was court-martialed. I never met his father, but I understand he was strict. I do. I understand he was he was a colonel in the Marine Corps. He didn't put up with a lot of stuff. Let me talk about Mark Kelly, and I started talking about him. Senator Mark Kelly will have his military retirement pay cut. It's part of a disciplinary action, and it's over that video that he made, where he was telling people they don't have to follow the illegal orders if Trump makes an illegal order. That was just to put doubt out there, and that was a tactic used. And it wasn't just Mark Kelly. There were 6 of them, but Mark Kelly, I think it was 5 or 6. Mark Kelly was the only one that could get in trouble for it because he's still under some kind of military law and his retirement is in his rank and everything. He can't just go out publicly, define, the military and the president and stuff like that. I guess there's a problem. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a formal letter of censure against Kelly. Hegseth called Kelly's statement on the video seditious and reckless misconduct. 6 weeks ago, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 members of Congress released a reckless and seditious video that was clearly intended to undermine good order and military discipline. As a retired Navy captain who is still receiving a military pension, Captain Kelly knows he is still accountable to military justice and the Department of War, and the American people expect justice. Kelly has 30 days to to file a response to the decision to cut his rank and retirement pay. And Captain Kelly's status as a sitting United States Senator does not exempt him from accountability, and further violations could result in further actions. I don't think Kelly's sitting still. In fact, this is the most active I've ever seen him. He's going to fight this one tooth and nail, I'm afraid. Much to his, terrible, he's going to get some terrible outcomes from this. Kelly vowed to fight the disciplinary action with everything I've got. And he called Hegseth the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in our country's history. Secretary of War, by the way. I guess that's just a little, I'm not going along with what the president says. Over 25 years in the U.S. Navy, 39 combat missions, 4 missions to space, I risked my life for this country and to defend our Constitution, including the First Amendment rights of every American to speak out. I never expected that the President of the United States and the Secretary of Defense would attack me for doing exactly that. My rank and retirement are things that I earned through my service and sacrifice for this country. I got shot at. I missed holidays and birthdays. I commanded a space shuttle mission while my wife, Gabby, recovered from a gunshot wound in the head, all while proudly wearing the American flag on my shoulder. Generations of service members have made these same patriotic sacrifices for this country, earning the respect, appreciation, and rank they deserve. Pete Hegseth wants to send the message to every single retired serviceman that if they say something or if Donald Trump doesn't like, they will come after them the same way. It's outrageous and it's wrong. There's nothing more un-American than that. Well, I think Kelly did a lot more than just use his First Amendment, and he should know the law and he should know it. I mean, I don't. I'm not a former military guy, but he should know it. And Kelly says, Kelly just keeps acting like it's no big deal. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. Nobody doubts that. Nobody's saying it's not clear. The way you framed it, though, was to undermine. And I think you would agree to that. The legality of those strikes, and he talks about now the Caribbean strikes. That's part of what he says now is why they were putting this message out. The legality of those strikes, which were made without authorization from Congress, has been questioned. Well, Congress doesn't need to authorize it. And yes, it can be questioned, but who questioned it? Kelly questioned it. Who else is questioning it, Kelly? Who else is questioning it? I mean, there's some individuals out there questioning it, but is there some legal precedence or something that you're putting out there that questions that? Hegseth goes on to say that these actions are based, the Pentagon's move to discipline Kelly. Actions are based on Captain Kelly's public statement from June through December 25, in which he characterized lawful military operations as illegal and counseled members of the armed forces to refuse lawful orders. This conduct was seditious in nature and violates Article 133 and 134 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, to which Captain Kelly remains subject as a retired officer receiving pay. I guess if he wanted to give up his retirement, he could say it. Chuck Schumer condemned the Pentagon's action. Of course he did, because they all hang together, I guess. Mark Kelly is a hero and a patriot committed. What difference does it make how long his career is, what he did for his country, which I commend him for, and what he's doing now? It doesn't matter where he's been, I don't think. If he's violating the uniform codes, and I think I think he hasn't backed down. I think he hasn't calmed down. In fact, if anything, he spooled it up. And I think Hegseth said very clearly that you could get it again. Discipline could happen again. And he's not saying no, you can't disagree with the president. That happens every day from everybody. Well, people in uniform aren't supposed to do that. But Kelly was out of line, I believe. And now he's attacking Pete Hegseth, calling him most unqualified. He says Pete Hegseth is this is Chuck Schumer. Pete Hegseth is a lapdog committed to serving one man, Donald Trump. This is a despicable act of political retribution. I stand with Senator Kelly, who will always do the right thing, no matter the consequences. You go ahead and stand with him, Chuck. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Well, you got to be quick to get on the phone here.
Yeah, you do.
There you go.
What's up, man?
Listen, I'm going to go back to something OG said.
Okay.
20 million people in prison, correct?
He said 8 million, I thought, but that's not true.
Well, okay. Now, there's only 2 million in the prisons. Is that what you're saying, or 1 million, 1.2?
1.2. And that's
1.2.
Yeah, according to some stuff that Edward dug up. Yeah, I got some charts on it. Yeah.
That's what's in prison. But I'll guarantee you there's at least 10 million sitting in jails waiting for court right now. Because not everybody goes to prison, but you can do 364 days in jail. And they consider that prison time.
I agree with you. There's more probably in jails than there are in prison. That's mostly felony stuff.
I mean, if you're arrested, you're innocent until proven guilty. But they can hold you in jail. That's worse than being in prison, from what I hear. So they can hold you in jail all through the trials and everything else. And if you're acquitted, you're acquitted. You get out, and then you don't go to prison. Correct?
Oh yeah.
But if they find you guilty, and they give you like 2 years in prison, well, you've already served how much time in the county jail, and they let that go towards your prison sentence because you've been incarcerated that whole time. So I believe he's right about being incarcerated, not in prison.
Okay.
Mark Kelly can kiss my butt.
You're not a big fan?
No, I don't like you. I've never have liked him because he's an arrogant SOB. If you know anything about officers, I did this, I did that. He worked his way through it, and yes, he did fly a space shuttle. He signed up. But that's, when you asked Chuck Yeager, he was so mad that he wasn't on the first set of astronaut names. There were so many guys, Bob Hoover, same thing, real, the best pilots that we had weren't selected for astronauts because they did not fit the picture profile.
Edward sent me something on jails. They say that it's called pretrial incarceration, detention. It says more than 400,000 people in the U.S. are currently being detained pre-trial. In other words, they're awaiting trial and still legally innocent. Many are jailed pre-trial simply because they can't afford bail money. Others because of probation, parole, or ICE officers have placed on hold.
Correct.
So he's only talking he's only talking 400,000.
Well, I think it's probably a lot more than that.
Well, I'm reading an article that he sent me called Prison Policy Initiative. I don't know who writes it, but it goes through a lot of it about the cost, the percentage of people in city and county jails being held pretrial, medium bail money. I mean, it goes through a lot of details.
Okay,
but still not going to reach 8 million.
My thought on it is how many bodies does Ewan County Jail can they hold at max capacity?
Good Lord, I don't know.
I know. I was thinking it was over like 750.
Well, he sent me another thing here. It says the total number in city jails is 650,000.
So it'll keep.
Still, we're not even come close to 8 million. Good Lord, he gave me a pie chart here of what they're being held for: violent, property, drug, not convicted, held in jails for local authorities, all kinds of stuff.
Being stupid in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy does a lot of research. I don't know how he does it so fast.
He has a crew of people that do it. I'll bet you anything he's got 4 people sitting over there going, nope, he's wrong on this, because we're always wrong when it comes to Edward.
It takes more than 4 people to keep Edward happy, I would think.
I'm sure too.
Total number would be 2.1 million in jail or prisons. He totaled it all up. 2.1 million.
Hey, on Monday, did you report on the guy that drove off the 4th Avenue Bridge?
Nope.
Did you
Was
hear
it
the
you?
story? No, it wasn't me, but the helicopters were flying up and down the river, at deck level, looking for the guy.
Did they find him?
Yeah, they found him. He was right there close to his truck. But his truck, that was like a 50-foot drop.
Did he survive it?
He survived it. They got him. I don't know if he's passed since, but they got him to the hospital. That's how they found him, because they could hear him screaming for help.
You sure it wasn't you?
Positive it wasn't me. How could I be reporting? In fact, I am driving a pickup right now, but it's not mine.
I've known you to go to the hospital with injuries like that before, but
well, you've taken me, but it's okay.
You seem to be indestructible, man. You just keep coming back.
The truck landed on its side in about 2.5, 3 feet of water in the river.
Yeah. Wow.
And then Brian from Dick's went over there with a medium wrecker, and since the guardrail is all gone, he just backed up to it and dropped his boom down. And I don't know who whether it was the county sheriff that went out there with their boat. Somebody had to go out with a boat and put the hooks on it.
So he was able to pull that up in the air,
straight up in the air off the side of the bridge, and then once he got it up in the air, he rotated, pulled forward with it, and then set it on Jimbo's flatbed.
Wow. So that's a bigger bill then. It took 2 wreckers.
Well, yeah, because he's on contract for big recovery for Jimbo's.
That had to be a pretty big.
That's Dick's Towing.
That had to be almost crane-like ability.
Well, that's what a big wrecker does. But this wasn't a big wrecker. This is only his medium duty wrecker.
Only a medium?
Yeah, a medium's pretty big. He pulls motorhomes.
No, I didn't report on that at all. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't read any articles on it.
It was just like 8:00 at night when it happened, because when I came out, I could look all the way down to the 4th Avenue Bridge. I mean, where my place is at.
So tell me, he busted out the guardrails and everything. How could he do that? I don't know. I don't understand.
I never did get any follow up on it, because I don't read the Human Daily Scum anymore. I didn't find out what happened or how it happened, but it was right in the middle of the bridge.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a running start to hit it like that? Is that where the curve is or something?
No, that bridge is straight across.
Straight across.
Where he went, when they're over there they're putting the guardrail up on it now, building a new guardrail. But if he landed on his.
If you just bump up against it, you're not going to knock that guardrail down. I wouldn't think, but honestly,
no, you'd have to have some momentum.
Something happened. That guy was pushing it pretty hard.
That's stop being stupid in public once again. But anyways, I didn't know if you heard anything about it.
No.
I guess I'll have to check with Blackwell. She'll know all that stuff.
Yeah, she keeps track of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Anyways, but Mark Kelly has never, when he said, "Oh, because I'm taking care of my wife," who'd been shot in the head, the "oh, woe is me" deal.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Be a man. Don't be telling people you can break the law. You signed a contract when you went into the military service, to do and follow what orders are given to you. And yes, you can refuse to do an illegal order, but if you refuse to do an order, then you have to go in front of a mass of officers and say why you did this.
You better make sure you know what you're doing.
You better have all the answers right then and there, because you cannot disobey a direct order from a superior officer. You can question it, but you cannot disobey it. If you do disobey it, then they take you from the position where you're at as whatever grade level you are, and they hold you, and you don't do anything until they clear your name.
Of course, I don't have a military background. You guys all got me on that, but that sounds right.
Well, like I say, when you sign that contract, you don't have to have an attorney to read it to understand what that contract is when you sign a contract with the military.
Yeah.
Play by the rules. Mark Kelly's not playing by the rules. He's an arrogant, you know what?
Man, he's been looking horrible to me, but I guess his base like it, what he's doing. I don't know.
Well, because they've all drank the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Excuse me. All right, I got to go.
See you, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Mr. Andy. I'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
We're the comfort experts, people you can trust. Ask our customers. That's why they count on us. Over 50 years of service, keep us going strong. We've got a name you can depend upon. Hamburger, refrigeration, and electric. Count on us.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark back with you. Phone lines are open 928-344-5258. And let me take a call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ, how you doing?
Doing well, Gilbert. Good morning.
I had a pretty interesting call yesterday.
Okay.
I'm going to share it with you. I will not mention the young lady's name because she's in a capacity. But she was calling me to ask me if I was going to be at our state convention coming up in January.
Uh-huh.
And so she did the wrong thing and asked me if I have any concerns.
Why? Because you held her up for an hour?
Yeah. And what was pretty strange, I said, why wasn't the whole GOP supporting Daniel Gutierrez? Because it was just a special election, right, for that one thing, for the governor. I mean, not a congressman, right?
Right. For Gutierrez, yeah.
Yeah. And I go, why didn't Arizona support him? Why weren't the GOP supporting him financially? Why didn't they do anything after the primaries? I go, I understand things of the primaries, but once the primaries were done, we should have been in total support. I'm talking everybody should have been out supporting him. I'm talking District 4, District 5, it was CD7, but all the GOP legislators should have been supporting Daniel, right?
Right.
You know what was surprising? She wasn't aware. She never heard of Daniel Gutierrez.
Oh, okay. Well, that probably created a lot of more questions from you.
Yes, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I go, why? Why is it our GOP, Arizona GOP, is not strong enough that you, a person in your position, that you want me to support your candidate?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know anything about this?
Well,
how could that possibly be? I go, I don't understand that. Oh, that's something I need to ask.
When you say he received nothing, that's not true. He got some.
He did not.
Okay.
He did not. He didn't. What I'm getting at, every legislator in the state of Arizona should have been supporting him in the papers and everything. But for her to tell me she didn't know there was a special election,
okay.
What does that tell you about our GOP?
Well, it tells me about an individual in the GOP. I don't know.
And I understand that, but again, that there was a lot of people that didn't, and that's what bothers me. And I told her what I want is someone that's going to get the whole Arizona GOP together in one unit. Quit this fighting. And I brought up the fact that I was there one time, and all the crap that was going on with I won't mention his name, but his followers, that they lined up to give their opinion, their 1 minute spill.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very embarrassing. They were a bunch of, I told they sounded like a bunch of fifth graders out there.
Okay.
And, well, you were there. You saw it.
Yeah.
You agree. I know you agree. Because I was watching everybody. I was watching
your side. I was watching our side and all the expressions.
Yeah, these are just individuals, but okay.
Well, yeah, but they had enough. But that's one thing that I want to talk to you about. But I do remember that comment about I don't want my grandsons sitting next to Mexicans in their math class. That happened. It was a grandson. I think that happened 3 years ago on your show.
I don't remember it.
Oh, you should. By me telling you that, yeah, I remember because I talked to that individual.
Okay.
And yeah. And so, yeah, we have that type of mentality within our own troops here. You know that. I know that. Also, what do you think about a person that manages, supports a person that he knows he's lying about where he lives? Well, we're talking about Gary Snyder.
I know. Look,
but this person supported him, and he's an elected official now.
Okay.
Now everybody's talking about how great this person is.
Sure.
But he knew that guy was lying all along.
Did I?
So what does it tell you about that person?
It may have made a mistake. I don't know. Maybe he's supporting him for other reasons. I don't know, Gilbert.
But I'm just saying, what does it say about a person that supports a person that knows he's lying about where he lives and yada, yada, yada?
If he knows it, then I guess, but I don't know that he knows or what doesn't know.
And he knew it. You know it. You know what I'm talking about.
All right.
You know the person I'm talking about. I just refuse to throw out the name because he is an election official.
So?
Well, I'm just saying, what do you mean so? I'm just saying this person knew this person did not live in that district. He knew he was a shyster, and he was supporting him. What birds of a feather flock together, or that's all I'm saying. But I remember that conversation, and
there's been a lot of accusations out there about where people live and all that, and one of them was Darren. What was it?
Darren Mitchell.
Okay, and he got accused. He got taken to court on it and all that crap. And I knew he really, and I went to his house. He really lived there and all that. And so I'm not real quick to put disparity on anybody. I've seen it happen where, they're telling the truth and not telling the truth. So I let everybody take care of it. So I'm not going to comment on it really, other than I talked to Gary.
You were there when Gary Snyder stood up on that stage shouting out he knows about what was going on in San Luis because he lives in San Luis. At the same time, he was running for what?
Absolutely, I was. And okay. And I don't know if this is worth talking about, but you and I are going to disagree on it. I mean, do I think he lived there or whatever? I don't know. And I don't really care. I didn't. I think Gary Snyder had a lot of things that I don't like, did a lot of things I don't like. But I'm not going to sit here and tear him up. I'm not going to do it.
Well, I'm just saying I remember stuff, and everybody talks about how somebody's this guy's such a great guy, but this person knew about all the shenanigans going on.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. We all make our beds, we all sleep in it. But the fact that I do when Mr. Clyde brought up about that individual saying, I don't want my son sitting next to Mexicans in his math class. I remember that. I remember it clearly.
Okay.
But, your show is about talking, Russ.
So?
And I appreciate what you do. I appreciate that you give us a chance to air out our concerns. And that's what it's all about.
I always will. Doesn't mean I'm always going to agree, but okay.
Well, yeah. I don't expect you to agree with me. Okay. I definitely don't expect you to agree with me. But again, me talking with that lady last night, and she wanted me to do this, and when I asked her about why wasn't it, and she goes, "Well, I didn't know about that special election."
Okay.
And I go, "Wow, you're way up there in the food chain."
Well, obviously there was a disconnect.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
But anyway, have a good day.
You too, buddy.
God bless you, and thank you for allowing us to come in and talk about our grievances.
Not a problem, buddy. Take care, man. Bye.
And I do want to know how fast that guy was going to knock down that guardrail at the bridge.
It's not an easy thing to do. I don't know what the heck he did, but he's effective. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Mr. Gilbert. Trump is out there lambasting a fellow Republican, talking about, and I kind of like the Ronald Reagan thing about talking about fellow Republicans, but I think this Thomas Massey deserves it. GOP Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky. That's Donald Trump on Monday is going after him. He's targeting the incumbent lawmaker for ouster in a Truth Social program, whatever. His challenger, Eric Gowron. Trump is a supporter of Ed Gowron, not Eric. Ed Gowron. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he backed the congressional seat last year. He says Massey is the worst Republican congressman we have ever had in many years, and that Gowron officially filed a run for Congress on Monday, I guess, against him. He says, I have heard that there are other candidates exploring a run for the seat, but I'm asking all MAGA warriors to rally behind Captain Ed Gowron, the candidate who is far and way best positioned to defeat third-rate Congressman Thomas Massey, a weak and pathetic rhino from the beautiful Commonwealth of Kentucky, a place I love and won big all 3 times. Massey has been attacking Trump, not a Trump fan. He says, wake up, MAGA. Wake up. That sounds like OG. Wake up, MAGA. Venezuela is not about drugs. It's about oil and regime change. This is not what I voted for, or what we voted for. Trump says Gowron is a big fan of our recent attack on Nicolas Maduro, the dictator of Venezuela. Massey says only votes against the Republican Party making life. Oh, no, he said that Massey only votes against Republican Party, making life very easy for the radical left. Unlike lightweight Congressman Massey, a true hater of Israel and a totally ineffective loser who has failed us so badly, Captain Ed Gowron is a winner who will not let Kentucky down. So Massey, is on Truth Social and goes through all that stuff, and he writes right on it after the Trump outlining how he feels about him. He says, it happened again today. Why do I get attacked weekly? Because I'm the only Republican who refuses to rubber stamp foreign aid, endless deficits, and unnecessary wars. I'm also exposing sex traffickers. My primary is in May. Please help me if you can. So he's using the Trump tweets or Trump things on X as a campaign fundraiser, which I don't know if that works. Maybe it does. Maybe he'll get money from the left. Say, keep stirring up the pot, buddy. Keep making it difficult on Republicans. And I think this whole thing that he's done, including Green and Massey. Green's not as aggressive. In fact, she doesn't attack quite like that. But Massey's been pretty down. And of course, Trump. Trump is a New Yorker that retaliates, and he doesn't take it. He comes right back at you. So oh man, I got a fact check on Gilbert. Tom says, hey, Gilbert, Mexican is a nationality, not an ethnicity. Hispanic is an ethnicity. I even question whether Hispanic is. Hispanic hasn't been around that long, actually. The terms and stuff, I think it's more of a culture than anything. It is a culture. Growing up in that, just like living in Minnesota is a culture where you turn your back on Somalia fraud, you just let it happen. I think it's part of the culture. U.S. gas stations. Which U.S. gas station is owned by Venezuela? And I know it's been on the radio before. I've had people call in. It's Citgo. Citgo is owned by Venezuela, which is really interesting. Of course, now that Nicolas Maduro is in is in jail, awaiting trial, and all that's in it. But this article says it has little to do with the oil markets into a frenzy. It had little impact on oil prices, really, but it may have something to do with emotion. I don't know. But Citgo owns and operates 3 refineries: Charleston, Louisiana; Lemont, Illinois; and Corpus Christi, Texas. Supply more than 4,000 independently owned gas stations operated under its brand, which is Citgo. It's a U.S.-based subsidiary of Petróleos de Venezuela, which is PDVSA. And they own Citgo outright. And Venezuela's state-owned oil company. It's a state-owned deal that operates in the United States. In 2019, during President Trump's first term in office, the U.S. sanctioned PDVSA. Those sanctions blocked PDVSA from benefiting financially from any Citgo's operation. Well, Citgo has, I guess, been sold to Amber Energy, a company closely affiliated with the environmental firm Elliott Management, for $5.9 billion. The sale price is well below the valuation, which is $11 billion. I don't know why that is, other than maybe because it's the ownership is tricky. I don't know. But it hasn't gone through yet. We'll see if it does. Let's take a quick phone call. You got a minute? Good morning. Oh, they wanted more than a minute. I don't have it because the place is going to take it away. But Elliott was involved in a high-profile South American distressed debt case in the past. In the early 2000s, Elliott sued Argentina to recover $1.5 billion in assets over the country after the country defaulted on bonds that the investor owned. So I guess they're used to the oil business. They're ready to go on to it, but we'll see where it goes. And then who gets the money if it sells? Does it go to Argentina? I mean, Argentina. Does it go to Venezuela if they own it? And yet they're not allowed to profit? I have no idea. Maybe that's why it's going for less than its price. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Tuesday. I'll see you on Wednesday morning, AM 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.